Greetings, B-movie aficionados.
Hello, welcome to A Couple of Flicks. I'm Tristan.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Zach.
Today we are going to be talking about 3 Ray Liotta films, I guess in honor of his passing. So,
Yep.
It's been a while now, but yeah.
yeah, I figure because when you look at his filmography after Goodfellas, it kind of gets quite messy. So, yeah,
Yeah.
So yeah, we're giving some of his films a try, and I hadn't seen any of these, so
Yeah, I was wondering if I saw Dumbo Drop when I was a kid or whatever.
I definitely had.
I don't remember if I had or not. I think I might have, but
yeah, I think I saw the cover of that one like at the store, and I was like, oh, it's a war movie, like boo, but I didn't realize it was a kids movie, so it was like, oh, okay.
Kids movie.
Yeah, quote unquote kids movie. But before we jump into the Ray Liotta pictures, have either you watched anything recently that you want to talk about?
I just watched the Northman today.
Yeah. What did
how
you think
was
of that?
It was really good. Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed it a lot.
Robert Eggers was pretty damn good.
Yeah. I agree. I didn't like this one. I didn't like The Northman as much as I liked his other 2 movies, but I still liked it. So,
Yeah, I think I'd put it second.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure where. I think
I don't know.
I don't know which one I like more. Like, I don't know if I like The Lighthouse or The Witch more, but this one I don't like as much as those 2, but I still really liked it. So the one thing that kind of bothered me about it was like I thought the fight scenes looked kind of weird. Like,
Yeah.
kind of, I mean, it sort of was like more like they were kind of dancing a little bit because it was sort of slow, and it was like, but it wasn't really slowed necessarily because of what they were doing. It was more kind of, I don't know. It was just weird the way it looked. Like, it looked intentional, but I kind of would have preferred if it had been more like
A little more
Valhalla,
stylized.
Yeah, or like Valhalla Rising style, where it's like really savage and like kind of indirect and like gnarly, and instead it was kind of more kind of swift, and I don't know, it was just weird. It didn't feel like the fight scenes had any weight to them. Like, the ending fight scene, like, it looked cool, but like that's kind of it. I don't know, it was interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if he was trying to go more authentic or something.
Maybe.
I think he was. I saw the Red Letter Media. They did like their mid-year reviews, and that was on it. And I think they said that it was a lot of the fight scenes were like done in long takes.
Yeah.
So they did have a bit more choreography to them. That would have makes sense in that case.
I meant to go back and watch that. I stopped because I wanted to watch the movie first.
Yeah, I skipped it. They had a spoiler section that I skipped off over that.
I haven't watched it, but I am kind of curious as to what they'd have to say about it. It was yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, I liked it too. It was very like, it was Robert Eggers doing his whole like symmetrical, minimal type of thing.
Yeah, they said it's his most mainstream accessible one he's done, but still very weird.
Yeah, there was a lot of like synchronicity and his usual type of stuff that he does in his other movies, like he does in this one as well. And, that's always really cool and fun. So but it was just weird to see the fight scenes done that way. Like, I guess maybe that's my issues. When the fight scenes are stylized, it just kind of throws me off a bit. Like, I don't know, maybe that's just not what I'm used to with my Viking movies.
Yeah.
Uh, and then there were moments where the characters were basically like practically trying to dual wield, which that always like annoys me because that's just not a smart thing to do when you're fighting because it throws off your balance. And I just, like I don't mind it if it's in a video game or like a dumb action movie, but when it's in something like this, it's just kind of like, But I get it was also trying to be like a legend, like it was like the legend the Hamlet was sort of based on. So it was, I guess it was trying to be more like a mythological like legend type of thing. So I guess in that regard, it was really cool. Like you can still kind of imagine everybody just tripping balls on the battlefield, and just imagining seeing Odin and Willem Dafoe giggling like a squirrel. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's great cast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Gotta catch it. I haven't seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a lot of fun. I can't even think of what I've watched recently. Like, I've seen like in a weird, random assortment of things. I recently rewatched Ted. Like, just I don't know. I was bored. I was like,
Seth MacFarlane one thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I was just kind of curious as to how that one would go. And I was like, there was some parts that still kind of made me laugh, but like I think I still like Giovanni Ribisi the most out of everything in that movie. Like, he's what made me laugh the most. But yeah, I don't know. I think the novelty is kind of worn off for me.
Yeah,
That's funny.
I haven't seen that one in years.
Yeah, it's kind of a cute little charming goofy little dumb movie, but that's kind of it. I just like Giovanni Ribisi's like weird striptease thing that he does. Like, that's just my favorite thing about that whole movie, I think. When he's dancing in front of the television or whatever.
Is he like sipping on a juice box or something?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that stuff made me laugh a lot. Oh my god. Anyway, but I watched Hustle, the that new Adam Sandler movie. I think it's called Hustle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I really enjoyed that one too. That one was actually really cool. Like I would actually probably rewatch that one. So, I watched it just this morning. So, yeah, and yeah, I like the director. I've liked everything he's done so far that I've watched. So, anyway, what about you, Nick? Have you watched anything?
I watched recently. Not real. I saw Midsummer a little while back. I guess enjoyed that.
Yeah, you liked it.
Yeah, it was fine.
Cool.
Shit. What was the other one that The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I saw.
Nice.
Yeah.
What was that one like?
Did either of you guys see it yet, or?
Not yet.
It was okay. I'd say keep your expectations lower than. Yeah. It definitely felt like it was filmed during COVID for sure.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the dialogue was weird to watch because it was like just hard cut. It seems like, there was a lot of definitely like, over the head shots where they were oddly as stand-ins.
Yeah.
And like there was just this one really weird scene because what's her name? Tiffany Haddish, I think, is in it. And Cage and her were talking on a bench, and it was like they were not even in the same scene basically. So, and like most of the scenes were with just a handful of people. So I'm pretty sure it was almost all done during like COVID stuff. And
yeah,
I think it would have been more fun if it wasn't.
Yeah, I think even Nicolas Cage himself said he wasn't going to watch it or something like that. So.
Yeah, and it is more straightforward than what I was hoping, but
yeah,
it was good. It was fun. Had a bunch of nods to all his classics. So that was enjoyable part.
Nice. Did we get a high fucking yeah?
I don't know if we got a high fucking I don't think so.
Well, we got one
But-
in the Prisoner of whatever, Prisoner of Apocalypse or whatever it was called.
Prisoners of the Ghostland, yeah.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
Ghostland Prisoner.
I know we got a callback to that. What was that movie? Deadfall with the high fucking they did at least call that movie back. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
I don't think you got that in. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably watch that one at some point, but yeah, I mean,
It's
Yeah,
fine if
when-
you go in with low expectations and just because it is pretty straightforward and not bad,
yeah,
but it's not like crazy cage coolness.
yeah. I'd mostly only watch it out of curiosity. I think not necessarily because I'm all that like, I don't know. I don't necessarily. I mean, too much cage does exist, as we all know. But, yeah. Oh, I did watch that weird animated movie that came out recently, Mad God. So
I've heard that was pretty good.
yeah, it was definitely, it was wicked. It was okay. It was very obtuse. I would use that word to describe it because I couldn't follow the plot really. Like there was way too much going on, and it was really visceral, and like the sound design was really intense, and like I could see why it took him 30 years to make it, because like it's pretty like all over the place animation wise. But it was interesting to watch. I mean, I would probably watch it again, but at some point. But it was just a lot going on at once, and it was hard. It was really, really hard to follow, and there was so much death. Like it was just people, like everything just getting killed all over the place in nasty, horrible ways, and it was like, I don't know, sensory overload, and I don't know. It's lots of stop motion. Apparently, Phil Tippett or Tibbet went. I think he had to be like institutionalized or something for a year at one point. Like, I think he had, a lot of things he was trying to say with it. Like, it's very political. Like, it was trying to say something about how like everybody is a monster, or like no matter like who you find or something, they're gonna betray you or something. Because like I noticed a reoccurring thing where the main character would encounter like either a group of something or one something character or characters who like appeared to be really like trying to be out for their well-being, but then would suddenly like turn around and end up being like just as bad as the shit they were dealing with before, if not worse. Like that happened a lot in this movie, so I think it was trying to say something kind of political, but I couldn't follow it. Like it was just whoosh, went over my head.
Yeah.
That's my review.
Sounds intense.
Mad God. Yeah, it is intense. Yeah.
Okay.
It's on Shudder, so if you want to watch it. They've been putting out some pretty wild stuff lately. So.
Oh, actually, one more. I'll say that I did do extra work on a movie this week.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, it's called Challengers. It's going to be called, like the IMDb's up. It's by the guy that did Call Me by Your Name with Timothy Chalamet or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a tennis movie and Zendaya's in it. So I saw her walking around. Like in one of the scenes, I'm literally like that few inches just dancing next to her.
That's cool.
Wild.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Wow.
Right. Move over, Spider-Man.
Yeah. Get out of the way. Step aside.
Right. She's tall too. That's what I did not expect that. She's actually pretty tall.
That's cool. Oh man, I can't wait for the second Dune. I mean, that's gonna come out whenever, but still, I'm looking forward to it.
Hell yeah. Both parts. Right? There's
Yeah.
2 more. Yep.
I think they're gonna have to make a third one afterward. Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to cover everything in the second one. Like it would just be too much. Like honestly, so Anyway, enough about Dune. All right, let's talk about some Ray Liotta pictures.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think the first film we're talking about is the one that you chose, Nick.
Okay. Yep. So my choice was Unforgettable.
Ooh.
Shit. I don't know what 96.
Yeah.
Yeah, 96. Yeah.
It's a crime mystery thriller with a bit of sci-fi in it.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah,
say.
it was a pretty neat little, had a little neat little twist in the middle, like the core of the film. So
Yeah. So what it basically is Ray Liotta. He's playing a CSI guy. I think it's basically what. I don't think he's an actual cop. He is a doctor. But yeah, he's playing, like your Gil Grissom, I believe, of CSI.
yeah, he
and
seems to be involved in the investigative process, at least. Like in the opening credits, they kind of show like crime scene photos and stuff.
yeah. So
Director John Dahl.
I don't know when CSI came out, but I think this probably predates that. So
I think so. Yeah.
they were ahead of that craze, ahead of the time. There's that smoke machine too, and then like the first crime scene's at a bank robbery, and they just said, "Bring in the smoke machine," and I was like, "Does this exist? What's the point of this? I don't know if this is a real thing. I don't think it is, to be honest."
I'm not sure. That was hard to.
It's just like black light.
Yeah, it was just black lit and everything, but
yeah, it was cool to look at though. Like,
yeah,
I mean, it was dorky and I'd seen it before, but I always get a kick out of that. Like, it always it like brings back like a comforting feeling. Like, this is my decade. Here we go. All right.
Blacklight.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever I see blacklight now, all I think of is that especially with crime movies and shit, the super bad conversation in the car with Seth Rogen and Bill Hader's like, yeah, you think everything's just gonna be covered in sperm, but no.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
But it basically opens on a bank robbery where there is blacklight and everything is covered in sperm. Yeah. Not really, but yeah. Ray Liotta.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, it's hard to say.
Potentially, we don't know. We don't know what that stuff was.
Like, yeah.
So Ray Liotta shows up doing his job, and he notices a little matchbook, I guess.
Yeah.
That he recognizes from another crime scene. That, I mean, we learn, I don't know, 10 minutes from now, but basically,
backstory.
It starts to set up his backstory from that. It is the crime scene of his wife's murder. And so, he starts going to investigate that type of stuff. But before that, he goes to, I don't know, he's dating some girl now, or she's only in it for a scene, but basically a reason to go to some medical convention thing.
Yeah.
To watch this girl. Shoot, I forget the actress's name, but
well, like Linda Fiorentino.
Yes, her.
Yeah, who I always actually really enjoy seeing her in movies. Like,
yeah, I do too.
She's in one of my favorite movies of all time, The Last Seduction. Like, she's the main character in that, which is actually by the same director as
this. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just kept reminding me of her in Dogma.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
I remember her in that one. Yeah. She just brings the perfect like deadpan dryness.
Yeah, I remember her being funny in something I saw, so it must have been Dogma. So yeah.
There was also Men in Black. Like,
that's actually probably the bigger one that I remember from then. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Men in Black is probably her biggest movie.
Okay. Yeah. I was trying to pin her down throughout the whole movie. I couldn't figure it out. Okay, but now I know.
Yeah.
And she plays the doctor as well, doing some like memory research type stuff to basically transfer memory
Yeah.
from one thing to another. She's just working on rats right now. And Leota's encapsulated or, enthralled by her her talk, but he has, motives behind it. He basically like after she's all done, he like corners her basically and says, "Can I come swing by tomorrow, 9 a.m.?" Like very forward.
Yeah.
But
What?
yeah, but he makes it happen.
Yeah.
And so it's basically you take she explains you take I don't know, this, what was it, CSF, cerebral spine fluid, yes. So the theory is that all your memories are stored in your cerebral spine fluid. And they use just the term CSF a lot. So you take that out, mix it in with some drugs and inject it, and then you'll see memories of whoever's spinal fluid you took.
Right.
And she demonstrates it with lab rats and shit like that. And I guess there needs to be an external stimuli as well, which was a cat that was chasing them in the lab rat experiment.
Yeah.
But and that's right. And at that party too, people were it's brought up that Liotta maybe killed his wife as well. And she goes does some research. She finds out he's been a drunk and whatnot, throughout his life. But so she's a little sketchy at bringing him into the office, and for good reason, because he comes back later and steals everything.
And might I just quickly say that this isn't the last movie that we're going to be watching tonight, where two women talk behind Ray Liotta's back about how he had allegedly killed somebody.
Yeah. That was funny to see.
Yeah, I laughed my ass off at that. I was like, oh my god. Here we go.
I laughed harder at the other one, and just because it was so blatant. But
yeah,
we'll get to it. And I have something to say on that one too. It's just funny. But yeah, so he steals all the shit, the drugs. He goes into the coroner's office, steals his wife's, because apparently I guess that's what they do. Autopsy people, and if you're murdered, they'll take a vial of your CSF now.
Yeah, it's as simple as that.
Just
they keep it for however long.
Yeah, forever, I guess. Yeah. I guess just locked up in a refrigerated evidence room.
It's so weird.
Like I was confused at first because it looked like just a regular evidence room he was walking into, and he was going through the vials to pick it up. I was like, this seems like it might want to be refrigerated. But as he was leaving, the guy said, "Ooh, you want a coat? It's cold in here." So I was like, "Oh, okay." Line of dialogue covered that up.
Yeah, it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, but so we got the drugs and the CSF. He goes back to so he's balling too, because I was confused at first at like what he's living in. Or so the place where she was murdered seems to be just like a big ass garage with the top floor on top of it that has like, I don't know, like maybe some type of guest house or something, but also below is definitely a garage.
Yeah,
because he's still living in the big house next to it. But yeah, that place where he goes is still like CSI'd off, taped and pictured, and I think even the chalk outline is still there and shit. So
this film is pretty traditional with its like overall like neo-noir style, which is actually kind of why I loved it. Because it was like, I was almost like a little checklist of like
what they got to do.
Yeah, disgruntled situation. But it was more fun because it was Ray Liotta, and he had like a backstory. Like he wasn't just a crime scene investigator. He also was notorious for something else that he may or may not have done. But that's what drives him crazy. Like that's what, keeps him going is his own sort of personal circumstances, because it's become personal.
Mm-hmm.
I love those kinds of stories. So
Yeah, it's cute.
yeah, it always makes me happy.
So okay, yeah, he shoots up. He shoots up his dead wife's spinal fluid.
And it works.
Works. Yeah, he starts tripping out, seeing him get attacked.
Yeah.
And like he's even like is like kind of doing pantomiming of him being attacked, and
yeah, he's like reacting to her.
Yeah. And
she's like reenacting her attack.
Yeah, and she's like getting strangled at the end, and he's like on the ground, not getting strangled but not breathing and shit, choking out and stuff.
Yeah, Ray Liotta going oh.
Yeah, but he doesn't ultimately he doesn't see anything really. He sees the guy leave, and then it comes back later is that fireplace poker thing drop off later, which I guess is it is important, but at the time you're just saying, oh, that's just what he used to kill her. But no, it's more important than that. Yeah.
One thing that it bothered me that it wasn't like from her perspective.
Yeah.
Memories. It's like,
yeah,
you should have seen everything, but
through her eyes. Yeah.
But okay, I'll go with it.
Yeah, that kind of annoyed me too. I was like, come on.
Yeah. It would have been fun at least, but I bet they just didn't know how to do it, I'm sure.
Yeah. They were probably like, no, we gotta show the whole thing. The audience won't get it or something.
Sometimes they say when you trip out, like on ayahuasca or whatever, you have the out of body experiences and shit.
That's true. Yeah. Although Ray Liotta wasn't shitting and puking. So.
Right. Not yet.
Not yet.
So yeah, that ultimately it doesn't come up with anything because she didn't see the attacker.
Right. It's a silent kill. It's like, oh.
Yep. So he goes back to like, I guess, the robberies. The robbery that was in the beginning of the film that started everything off. Yeah. Sneaks in and takes some of their CFF. One of the girls that was there takes her CSF and shoots up again. So he's like just jamming that shit in his veins.
Yeah, Ray Liotta kind of goes a little nuts in this movie. It's like, all right, calm down, dude. Like,
yeah. And one of the effects too is apparently like will fuck your heart up with all the drugs and stuff. So that's a ticking time bomb of the movie.
Yeah, is that the more he shoots up CFF, the more he ends up screwing up his own health and his heart.
Yep.
Increases his risk of a heart attack.
Yep. And we see him go into the he bribes the evidence dude to get that get into the robbery evidence lockup to get that CSF.
Yeah. Yeah. And it actually unfolds in an interesting way later on, in my opinion, but we'll get to that.
Mm-hmm. So how does he even he just goes back to the I guess you can just, if you're a CSI guy, you can walk right back into the crime scene because they said in the beginning you do need to have a visual or some type of stimuli to remind you of to set off the reminder, like ignition. I forget what the word they use. So he goes back to the robbery, the drugstore, and shoots up there. This time he's like just some random innocent bystander girl. She does see who it is and his face and everything. And I thought this was interesting too. That afterwards he goes back to like a sketch artist, like a police sketch artist, And then he's like, no, it's all, this is all wrong. Let me, he, redoes the eyes, and he's
Yeah.
like, and the sketch artist was like, oh, I didn't know you could draw. And he was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I didn't either. and he mumbles under his breath that the girl he took the fluid from was an art major at a local college or something. But they
That
would
was
never
cool.
touch on that again. Like I was
Yeah.
like,
I
oh,
know.
I
that
thought they
what a
were
waste.
gonna-
Yeah,
They should have, but
definitely wasted opportunity.
I just
Um,
don't understand why they like. I don't understand why they introduced that subject or that idea without following through and trying to do something good.
Right.
Like do something with it. Like
right, he
that's
could have just
cool.
left it. They could have just left it at the sketch artist doing his thing and said, "Yep, that's him."
Yeah, it's like he could be gaining the abilities of the psychopath. You know? He could
Yeah.
be gaining his wife's, whatever her welding skills or something like that.
um. Okay. Oh yeah. So Yep. Gets drawing skills. And then the doctor lady, I think her name was Martha.
Yeah,
She comes back and confronts him because she noticed a vial of her shit's gone, and he's the
Yeah.
only one that was ever had access or even knew it really existed, because there was a bunch of trials that had to be done, and he when he was there, he literally said, "Let me try it." She's like, "No, we can't. It's illegal and might kill you."
yeah,
So she, I don't know, just confronts him, tells him to stop, or she'll call the cops. And he says no, but she doesn't. So she just agrees to follow him around to monitor him, I guess. So would be her technical first human trial or some shit.
yeah.
I think
Oh,
is
well,
the reasoning.
It eventually gets her into a little bit of trouble.
Hmm. Just a wee bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, they do find out that he has taken extensive heart damage. But they find the robber, the police people, with his now awesome sketch he made.
Yeah.
Um, and he basically start to chase. He locates where he's living at.
Yeah.
He starts to chase with him like gripping his side the whole time, out of breath and shit.
Yeah.
It ends up in a church. Yeah.
Oh, well,
right.
but before that happens, so Linda Fiorentino accidentally like rear ends somebody.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that guy made me laugh so much.
Yeah, he was so pissed. And then as soon as like sirens started wailing, he was like, "Oh fuck, I'm out of here."
Yeah. You are so lucky, lady.
Right. Like he is obviously a bad dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I also love how when Ray Liotta went to go find the guy, like he just kind of peeked at him in the hallway. Oh, what was that? Like, what was it? Oh yeah, he like peeks at him like in the doorway. I okay, I remember now. Yeah, like he peeks at him in the hallway, like kind of in the apartment, and he's like, "What are you looking at me for?" And like he
Oh
like
yeah, it's
accuses
the
him of
elevator.
flirting with him.
He was in the elevator. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that was it.
he was
Yeah.
about to get on, and the elevator opens up, and he's like, "Oh shit." Because the drugs start giving him flashbacks too.
Yeah, I was trying to remember like when that happened, but yeah, that made me laugh. Like,
Yeah.
and then he kept following him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, they wind up in a church.
Yep. He
Sorry.
takes a boy hostage.
Yeah, puts a knife to his throat and says, "Stop getting near me."
Why is no one listening to me?
Yeah. Put your guns down.
And it ends up, of course, the robber gets shot and killed.
Yeah. Ray Liotta's like, "No,
No, he's so pissed.
Yeah.
Because they potentially killed his only lead, or
Yeah.
the only suspect. But that doesn't
Yeah.
stop him, obviously.
Yeah, he still has to find out.
We're only like halfway through the movie. Come on. There's
Yeah, exactly.
So after the aftermath of that, all that is Ray Liotta basically gets fired because he was going off book from like for following that dude and all that stuff, getting a kid in danger and all that stuff.
Yeah,
It gets him fired.
Ray Liotta, that's an outright expulsion. You fucked up in a number of different ways, so get the hell out.
He's also acting erratically now, thanks to the drugs and shit. He progressively starts looking worse. He's like just looking all sweaty and paler throughout the movie.
Yeah, and Ray Liotta, he already looks sweaty and pale to begin with, so you can imagine this is him in like double the. This is Ray Liotta squared.
Mm-hmm. So there's this. I don't know. I guess the corner. He goes. It doesn't stop him at all, really, getting fired. He wouldn't have even noticed. It could have been you could have even cut that bit out, really. He wouldn't have even noticed because he still does shit, and the cops kind of treat him still like he's employed.
Yeah, that was kind of like, all right. I mean, I get it.
His parking space and everything.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
He has a buddy that's the main corner, I guess.
Yeah.
I remember him from The Mist. That's just because it's like my favorite movie ever, and I just know he's the guy that says there's something in the mist. He's the old dude in that.
Yeah. The Mist is such a classy movie, the more I think about it.
I love
it.
Yeah. Yep. But he's the main corner. And he's doing the autopsy of the robber dude. And Ray Liotta scumbags it, tells him, "Oh, your boss is calling you." And there's a little interaction, like, "No, you called me. No, I called you." That kind of thing. But
and
while he's
like his one assistant to go replace his razor blade, and she just bumbles around in the closet conveniently.
Right. Yeah, and like one funny because again the drug makes you trip out. Like when he's looking at it he's preparing an injection. He looks at the body and then it gets up and the body gets up and shoots him, and he falls back into shit. And that lady hears it, stops for 10 seconds, and then goes, must have been nothing. And then
she just
goes back.
Off.
Yeah. So dumb.
Yeah, I laughed. Oh.
But
and then I think her boss even says something afterward, like, "Wait a minute, you still haven't replaced my blade?" Or something
right?
Like that.
Yeah. So Liotta makes it out with the fluid, and he returns from that fake phone call, and then she returns at the same time. It's like, wait, you're just getting back with the saw blade now? Why isn't it already replaced? Which is. That's at least they addressed it there.
Yeah, I appreciated that. It's like, okay, thank you, movie.
So he takes the robber's blood or fucking fluid, whatever. Shoots up again, back at his house.
He's like, starts tripping out and having flashbacks to the guy. Doing the guy does seem to have an altercation with his wife, but it's not outright murder, but it does seem to be
yeah, he was I mean, I guess it's he was there definitely for reasons that we learn later, that he was hiding in the the closet of the lady, and so he goes to kill her. But we find out that he left before. He left, of course, but we do corroborate, at least. I guess that's what the whole point of this trip was, to corroborate that the robber was the guy that strangled her.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they put it together that he wasn't the one that actually killed her.
I think because she was I don't know, she was still conscious or something like that, or I don't know. It was something happened. She I don't know. There was something that happened in the midst of him strangling her.
Because there was
Like,
a lot that happened at that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like a bunch of stuff happened to her, but the guy who strangled her didn't end up being the one who killed her. He like in the midst of
It's
strangling her,
because
something happened.
yeah, it's because somebody showed up, so he like kind
Yeah.
of he dipped out early.
That was
That's
it. The
what
real killer showed up.
Yeah, yeah,
And Linda Fiore, and of course, that gives Ray Liotta the excuse of reenacting his wife's strangulation with Linda Fiorentino.
yeah,
Which
because he's tripping
it's
out
like,
as the guy strangling her, and so that was fucking
yeah.
dumb.
So it's
but
like, okay, all right, you gotta have that in there, And then of course she gets up and still wants to go help him, even though he just tried to strangle her. It's like, all right, awesome. Yeah, here we go. This is classy.
yeah, literally trying, like she was like on the ground picking up some pills to try and shove down his throat after she just got strangled by him.
Yeah, which was pretty noble of her. I guess it makes sense because she's the one who kind of introduced him to the whole idea of tripping out on people's memories.
Yeah, she knows what's happening to him.
Yeah, she gets it. She's like, I've been down your path before, mister. Or doesn't she have a line like that? I don't remember. Like,
I don't think so.
yeah.
Or I mean, I don't remember it at least.
I don't know. I remember she inferred. She said something like, "I know what that's like," or something. I don't know. It was something dumb. Anyway, there was a lot of dumb stuff going on in this movie, but I didn't really mind any of it. So.
Yeah, it's also at this point where we learned that he was there. Like Ray Liotta was there the whole time too. He was just passed out drunk in the driveway, apparently.
Yeah, like literally somewhere in the garden.
So for like the strangulation and then the real murder too, he was there for both of them, just passed out in the bushes, drunk.
Yeah. Oh, and he's got 2 daughters too, who he like occasionally sort of sees here and there. But
in the beginning, I wasn't sure why they were. It was not full custody of, because it is definitely stated, not stated, but shown that he doesn't have full custody, just like weekend or whatever. But then we learned throughout that, he's a drunk and also accused of, also a suspect in the murder, and like
which is why he's so obsessed with finding his wife's murderer, basically.
And their guardian's her sister and everything, so she thinks he did it too, because he confronts her because he's trying to get some info from. Okay, so this we'll just get into the end of the movie now. Is basically there's another guy that comes in. They somehow find out that his wife was pregnant. Because this all happened, I think, actually, when Liotta was passed out and stuff. Because he comes to and sees that she's taking the paternity test of the because of the baby that was wasn't born yet. And it was negative, so it wasn't Liotta's kid. So that gives another suspect out there, gives him reason to keep looking. And so he confronts his, would it be sister-in-law, right? I think that's who that lady was who was taking care of the kids.
Yeah.
Confronts her. She just basically says, "Yeah, I think you did it, but there was another cop that she was seeing, so I don't know his name or anything."
She basically just doesn't believe that a cop could ever be a suspect, I guess. Which I guess, whatever. I mean, I think it all sort of comes together in an effective way, because the way he actually finds it out is kind of interesting. I mean, that was actually kind of I sort of saw the ending coming, but I liked how they did it. Like, because I liked that Linda Fiorentino was like, "Here, I will inject the fluid. You don't have to, because you're getting messed up, and
it could kill you.
Any more of this stuff, and you're gonna have a heart attack." And so then
he already did have a heart attack. Even
he did, but in the process of her like getting all prepped to do that, he ends up basically tying her up or taping her to a chair or something like that and injecting it himself, which it's like that old school plot of, how far would you go to find your wife's killer, or how far would you go to find out what happened to somebody, type of thing. That, I mean, that's the plot of my favorite movie, The Vanishing. How far will you go to find out what happened to your wife or your girlfriend or whatever? I just love those kinds of plots. So even though it was kind of dumb of Ray Liotta to tape
Yeah, and she
Fiorentino
even
up and then inject himself and have a heart attack in front of her, it was
right.
still funny. Like that,
She even yelled out, "What about your kids?" And he didn't even fucking care. He was like, "I'm doing it."
Yeah, I'm
my
good.
kids.
I gotta find out. Shut up.
Shit, who was that? Whose CFS was that? Oh, okay. So right, so we get that it was a cop. Oh, and there was actually like a lot of tripping scenes when he was in the hospital bed of him with the robber's blood. He was like basically saw the whole robber's life from like a kid being beaten by his parents and then murdering dogs and shit like that. It was like wild.
He experienced the robbers like childhood abuse and like basically just like felt everything that guy felt, which messed him up mentally. So.
Yep. So after when he's in the hospital, one of his I don't know, cop coworker, one of the detectives comes in, who I thought, because at this point I thought it was going to be him because he plays just a douchey type cop, but he was totally a red herring.
Shooter McGavin.
Yep, him.
Yeah, I appreciated Shooter McGavin showing up in this movie.
Yeah, I love him too. It's funny shit.
Yeah, I always laugh when I see him in a movie.
And he was like, I don't like being wrong, but I hope you prove me wrong, when he like leaves. And he basically tells them that the cop that his wife was seeing conveniently shot himself on the day of her murder, but he's not dead. He's in a coma. So he goes and steals more fluid. Liotta just steals more fluid out of a conscious guy this time.
Yeah. And the guy even turns around and goes, "Oh," and then looks at him all like he's like, "What are you doing to me?"
I don't remember that. I remember it was just like him looking like that, but yeah.
Yeah, like he just looked confused. Like like
his
for
eyes
somebody
were
whose
open
spinal
still.
fluid is getting drained, he looks surprisingly calm. Like,
well, he was in a coma technically.
That's true. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, so that's where he goes to shoot up one last time at his house. Was it at his house this time?
Something like that. Yeah, I think so.
Yes, it was, because that's when he tapes up Linda and she says she starts the recorder, so that's gonna come into play. He's basically tripping out for a good like 10 to 15 minutes of exposition.
Where
we basically learn what actually happened.
It's a surprisingly complicated plot, actually.
there's
like a whole assortment of stuff that
there's a layer they could have cut out, because it's because the cop that was sleeping with her or his wife was actually a good innocent dude. But got wrangled in with a bad cop, which was the cop. We see him a bunch, like his boss or whatever, something. I don't know if it was actually his boss, but some type of higher up.
At first he seems like a by the numbers kind of guy, but it turns out he's not that way. Got duped. That's the mystery.
Yep. So he basically forces this guy into being a bad cop as well, and then holds it over him that he's cheating on Liotta's wife.
Yeah.
And then I don't know why they had to kill her. I forget what the whole reason why she had
that
to
was the one part I didn't understand. Why did they kill her? Doesn't that just make things more complicated for them? Like,
because she was a DA, right? Because I think she was prosecuted. So that must have been what it was. She was prosecuting some case that he didn't want prosecuted or something.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Which it's like Okay.
But it would still look mad sus if DA gets killed in this specific case that
Yeah.
someone's doing. So,
Yeah. That's
but
true.
yeah, so he sends the robber dude because he's one of their criminal informants,
Right.
in quotes, to go kill her.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
No.
He doesn't. And then I'm so confused too because he shows up at his house too,
Yeah.
and notices she's not dead,
Yeah.
and then just whacks
Oh.
her.
Wasn't there like a part where the lab got blown up too?
Oh yeah, yeah. This is
That
all
happened somewhere in there.
Yeah, this is all happening real quick. I think
Yeah.
it was. I think it was just while she was at the hospital with
That was
Liotta.
Yeah.
There's a big ass explosion in her lab, is all blown up, but she managed to save one last vial of the drugs you mix with the fluid for that last trip scene.
But an innocent janitor was destroyed in the blast.
Yeah.
The building got detonated, or the floor got detonated, and the movie made sure to show us that an innocent janitor was caught in the blast. It's very sad. R.I.P.
R.I.P. janitor. Yeah. So yeah, we basically get this whole convoluted backstory of the main cop literally putting a hit out on his wife from that robber dude.
Yeah.
And then finishing the job, and then killing the other cop that just banged his wife, basically.
Yeah. The film
And
kind of
got
set it up to make it seem like it was going to be more important than it actually was, but no, it was just his wife was having a bit of a party.
And it was also that he was a drunk and they were maybe getting a divorce, but she wanted to try and work it out.
Yeah, that's true. I can't put all the blame on her because Ray Liotta was.
Yeah, we did see during his many trip outs, we did see him acting like a drunken asshole. So.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, yeah, you're just a scumbag.
Yeah.
Everybody in this movie sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. All questionable people, except for Shooter McGavin.
Yeah, it's the only movie where Shooter McGavin is arguably the most moral person.
Right. He may have just had a few sarcastic dick zingers, but he's just being a funny guy. Can't fault him for zinging someone, roasting them.
Yeah, exactly. You see him going around, stealing people's spinal fluids.
Yeah. Fuck.
Oh, Jesus.
So, after all that, we learn, that main cop guy, he shows up at the house while Liotta's tripping sack. She's tied up. She can't do anything, so he starts another fire again.
Yeah.
Like he's not that creative with destroying evidence. Just blow it up is his motive.
Yeah. It's like, why not? Boom.
Yep. And that's basically the end. There's a fight that happens while the building's burning down.
Yeah.
He drags him out. Liotta drags the guy out, saves him.
Yeah.
But also grabs that tape too.
Yeah.
So to clear his name. Got it all on recorded, so.
Yeah, everybody knows Ray Liotta, he's home free, gets his kids back. I mean, he already got to visit his kids, so it's not like he had an okay deal to begin with, but he managed to, win out in the end. And
yeah, he probably got full custody back, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Everybody's like, all right, I guess we've decided you're not a psychopath after all. So,
I mean, debatable because he still stole all that fluid.
That's true. Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe it seems like he wasn't drinking alcohol anymore. So
yeah, and because that's one thing I noticed at first because he asked the doctor at the that very first function, she orders a whiskey and he just gets a soda.
Yeah,
like, oh, he's not drinking. Okay, well,
that's good. So he's trying not to be a creep.
That was even before the alcoholic backstory came in. I'm like, oh, he doesn't drink.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
interesting.
Cool. Yeah.
I'll take note.
Yeah. But then he started shooting up spinal fluid. It's like, okay, yeah, this guy's got issues. So
yeah.
But it's still happy endings. You know, you don't see them every day with these types of movies, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
I liked seeing Ray Liotta trip out. That was pretty funny. Like, he's on the floor going, "Oh, oh,
Yeah.
oh," and his eyes are bulging out, like totally tall. Like,
and that the bad cop was on to like what the doctor was doing, because he said, "Oh, there's only one way he could have figured that out, is if he was this person."
yeah,
And while he was watching Leota on the floor bug out, he says some line directly that was like the last line that he said to the cop before he framed it up. And he's like, "Oh, impressive! That drug does work. Okay, light you all on fire now."
yeah. I guess that's pretty much it. What'd you say?
Yeah, basically covers it. I guess I'd give it probably just like a 2-star, because it was long,
Yeah,
I feel, and there could have, and pretty layered with as many. It didn't need to be like, I don't know, that whole like the whole back half we just covered and was like,
yeah.
it was just done with just one bad cop probably, and maybe one red herring of Shooter McGavin, but there's just that innocent Joe Schmo that knocked his wife up that probably didn't need to be there, you know, just someone else. Yeah.
Yeah. I give it like probably about a 3, because even though it was definitely long, I agree, and the vision was definitely unwieldy. There were way too many characters. There was way too much backstory. There were way too many things that were introduced that get resolved later that didn't really affect the overall plot, like you said. I think if the film had focused more on Ray Liotta and maybe had like kind of zeroed in a little bit more on just his psychotic drive to solve the mystery of his dead wife, like, you know, kind of like what you get in a movie like Memento or something like that, I think it probably would have been like a better movie. But I still really enjoyed it. I mean, it was, you know, definitely, you know, excessive for the most part for the
I think
plot,
they might have helped if they took out a couple of the CFS takings, like just made it more explicit of he actually gained info from some of them, because some of them were just pointless.
Yeah,
I
just
feel
kind of let him know where the robber one really kind of didn't help him out very much at all. Actually, kind of screwed him up. Like,
yeah,
you know, but you know, you get a flawed protagonist. Ray Liotta is really good at playing those. He does a good job, actually. I don't know. I mean, I did enjoy it quite a bit. It doesn't really have the most memorable plot as far as like the whole dead wife thing goes, but you know, that plot is pretty forgettable. But I quite enjoyed it a lot, honestly. It was it was good, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd give it 2.5 if I'll bump it up to 0.5.
Okay, all right, cool. Thank you. What are your thoughts, Zach?
Yeah, I gave it a 2.5 as well. Like I've said before, I'm not too much into the noir style, and it felt very noir to me.
Yeah.
And I also did think it was a little long.
Yeah.
No, that's a noir trope too, though.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well,
but yeah,
I do love noirs. Speaking of, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, I need to watch some other ones, because the ones I've seen are just kind of boring.
Oh, you should. What's that one with what's his face? That's recent with James. Was it James McAvoy? I don't. That's kind of a take on it, where he's a high school Brick. I think it's called, maybe Brick.
oh yeah, that has Ryan Gosling. It has, I think it has Lucas Hawes in it. Brick from 2004. That one. Or are you thinking of a different one?
2005, I think.
Oh, 2005. Okay.
If that's
I
the
like
one.
that one.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's in it.
I
Oh,
think
yeah. Sorry,
I think I have seen that one actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a
It's
great.
been a while, but
Yeah. I get Ryan Gosling and Joseph Gordon-Levitt confused for some reason.
Very different. Very different.
I know, but
yeah.
it's like the weirdest thing. Like,
but that's a classic noir. Like,
that might be just like this time period of noir, like 90s. 90s thrillers. I'm just not that
Yeah,
into them.
I'm not. I don't like them too much either.
If you want like a really good older noir picture, Out of the Past with Robert Mitchum is outstanding. I really, really love that one.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's one. So, but yeah, I mean, I think this is actually by somebody who's a pretty talented director. I mean, like I said, he directed one of my favorite, The Last Seduction, which is one of my favorites, and then he did another movie, You Kill Me, with Ben Kingsley, that I really loved as well. That came out, I think, I want to say like 2005 or something, 2006. You Kill Me. That movie I really adore, and I think he directed that one.
I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I feel like this was like his first attempt at like a budget.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the impression I get based on his. John Dahl is the director. But anyway,
I just smiled. Brick was actually directed by Ryan Johnson or Ryan Johnson.
Ryan
yeah.
Johnson. Oh yeah, The Last Jedi fella.
Yeah.
Just forget
That's
that
funny.
movie happened.
Yeah.
Just move on to Knives Out.
Yeah. It was a good one.
Yeah. He also do a Loop, or no wait, did he do Looper? I don't
I think
remember.
so.
I think he did, yeah.
This director, I looked him up, I think too.
Yeah.
His most recent shit was actually just TV directing,
Yeah.
and he actually does a lot of work in TV. It seems, and good TV shows too, not just like shitty TV shows. Like he did,
Nice.
like the first one I noticed was he did do an episode of Breaking Bad, and then it just starts picking up from there. As he just starts
Oh.
taking like just on like the high quality ones. Like he did Yellowstone, I guess is good too. He did like 4
Nice.
episodes of that. Yeah, a bunch of good
That's
shit.
cool.
Good TV
All right.
directing, I guess.
John Dahl. There you go. You know, it's a good director, I guess. Anyway. Oh, which reminds me, I finished Stranger Things season 4. Well, I didn't finish the whole season, obviously, because it's not out yet. But I finished all that Netflix will allow me to watch.
Right, those fuckers.
Yeah, and I noticed a couple of them were directed by that Nimrod guy who directed. He directed something, and now I forget what it was, but it was something that we've talked about. I feel like. Nimrod something, Nimrod and Anatol, whatever that guy's name is. I think he did I think he does like music videos or something. I just like his name, Nimrod. I'm like, that's just the worst name for a filmmaker. Anyway, I'm sorry, we're veering off topic. We got to talk about the next movie on our Ray Liotta-a-thon, which, by the way, Zach, before you jump into that, might I say that your new look is pretty excellent, so with the glasses and everything.
Yeah, still getting used to them, so
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I wear glasses as well, but this is my period where I get to take a break from them, so
yeah, a little big for my face, but
yeah, same with mine are enormous. These are mine.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, they're like 70s style.
yeah.
Yeah, it takes a lot of refining to get them to fit your face.
Indeed. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah. What was your oh wait, there's a bit of a backstory.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah, it's my original choice was No Escape, which probably would have been way better. But
Yeah.
I mean, in the context of this show, but
yeah,
Unearthed Films recently acquired it, so we got taken off of YouTube.
Yeah, which is cool. I gotta admit, because they'll probably give it a pretty good restoration.
Yeah. So instead, I chose Operation Dumbo Drop.
You went in the exact opposite direction. Because
Yeah.
No Escape is supposed to be really, really dark and brutal. This is the opposite of dark and brutal.
So-
even though, it takes place during a particular time period. But okay, go on.
Yeah, it's a Disney Vietnam movie.
Right? I didn't expect I didn't expect just today's Disney. I'm like, why would they ever even touch something like that ever today?
Oh,
I
hell
don't
no.
think so. I don't, like a
Probably
Vietnam,
not.
like that's edgy. A Vietnam War movie from Disney. I was like,
It is
okay, all
very
right,
edgy.
I'm into it.
Yeah,
Yeah, me
direct
too.
marketed towards families too.
Yeah, this is supposed to be a family movie, which
Based on
actually,
true events as well.
yeah, that's actually quite kind of interesting that they make a movie based on true events and it's a family movie. You know, it's like, ooh, okay, all right, I'm interested. You know, and it's by the same director as something I've seen. Oh, Free Willy.
Is it?
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
It's by
And
the same director as Free Willy and Flash with Lucas Black.
Crocodile Dundee in Los Angeles.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
this guy just,
yeah.
just does the animal movies.
And he did that movie. What was that movie? That '80s movie, Daryl. You
Yep.
know, this is a great movie. Yeah, he's done some classics. So.
Yep.
But I'm curious as to why he went from working with whales to working with elephants. Like,
Biggest sea creature, not the biggest land creature.
yeah,
I
he
don't
just
know.
wants to work
Okay.
with the biggest animals. Like,
Yeah.
he's into big movies. You know.
Yep. All right. I will read the Wikipedia plot as always.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
During the Vietnam War in 1968, Green Beret Captain Sam Cahill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cahill.
Cahill.
Yeah, Cahill, I believe. That's Liotta.
Yeah.
That one's Danny
Oh.
Glover.
Oh, Danny Glover. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Doyle
And
is Liotta.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I would say that Danny Glover is probably more the main character in this movie than Ray Liotta. Honestly, like,
Yeah.
that's what it felt like to me. Like, yeah.
Co main.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like even though Ray Liotta was like top billed as like the main sort of, and I guess it makes sense because Ray Liotta does the most, but it's kind of more Danny Glover's story, honestly. Like, I
Yeah.
guess in my opinion,
Or
but-
Ray Liotta, I guess, has more of a character arc.
yeah, I guess that's what
Yeah.
makes sense. It's about Ray Liotta having to learn something that Danny Glover's already learned.
Yeah. So Green Beret Captain Sam Cahill has been working hard to create good relations between the United States and Montagnard Vietnamese village in the Dak Nai, which occupies an important observation point near the clandestine Ho Chi Minh Trail. Cahill is coming close to his discharge and explained to his successor, Captain T.C. Doyle, Ray Liotta, the delicate nature of Vietnamese customs, as well as counterintelligence involving covert enemy activity.
Yeah, so it's generally just kind of like it's just like another sort of situation where somebody who has sort of already kind of reconvened has managed to actually accumulate some degree of communications overall, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and then
Liotta is basically taking over Danny Glover's position because he's getting out soon, I guess, is what's going on there.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them getting out like less than a week. I think is what they were saying. You know, so.
Yeah, I was half expecting all of them to die, but
Yeah.
Disney. So.
Yeah, they managed to make good with their circle, which, you know, it's not like that didn't happen. It's just, you know, those usually aren't the stories you hear about. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So I think the only other time I've seen that might have been Apocalypse Now, actually. Off the top of my head, anyway. I mean, maybe I've seen that in some other Vietnam. Maybe Good Morning Vietnam. I feel like there was something about that in there, and I don't know. You don't see that in very many Vietnam War movies. So, but I wouldn't classify this as a war movie. Honestly, it's more. It's
no one
actually more-
dies.
Well, yeah,
There's
pretty much, like,
gunfire in quotes and
yeah,
explosions in quotes, but nobody dies at all.
yeah. Like the most war you get is literally at the very beginning when they're just like entering, because they're bypassing various territories, and of course there's, but it's kind of done really, like you don't actually see what happens. Like you see them start to fire and then it kind of fades and the pretty Disney harp music is playing and you see all the villagers running around and children and lots of like bright colors and stuff, and it's like, okay, this is a village. And Danny Glover is like breathing a sigh of relief, and you know, it's like, all
Yeah.
right, so I guess this is all right.
And it's like the bad guys are just chasing them the whole time mostly. There's not actual fighting
Yeah.
them. There was there's the
they're too
goat
slow.
or the boat scene too, was stood out to me as, oh, this is Disney as hell, because
Yeah.
they bombed basically an enemy boat, but they were like, oh, everybody jump off, get out. So they just bombed an empty boat and no one dies.
Yeah. Everybody manages to get off the boat before the bomb hits it. Lucky them. So, but you know, whatever, that's what they're going for. You know, they're trying to tell a very specific story. I mean, really, when you think about it, it is kind of comparable to Apocalypse Now, actually, because I wouldn't classify that as a war movie either. Like, because the war stuff only happens kind of in one part of the movie, but the majority of the movie, it's kind of in the background. And I would say this is sort of the same thing. Is the war stuff is at the beginning, and then the rest of the film involves this specific plot that you'll get to.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry for delaying the.
No, it's all right. It's kind of a short plot summary, so.
Oh, okay, cool.
But yeah, so they meet, and you can tell they're like polar opposites. Danny Glover's just drinking the local wine.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Liotta comes up by the book and everything.
Yeah.
But you kind of guess where this is going.
Pretty much. Like Ray Liotta is kind of a stingy, uptight, conservative fella who ends up he takes a sip of the wine and he goes, "Blah, blah."
Yeah, it's customary. He said, "Are you getting hammered at?" They even said hammered in a Disney movie. You're getting hammered at 11 a.m.
It's like,
it's customary.
Careful there. You know, you
Right.
don't want to upset the. You know, you're already pushing it with the PG. You know, so.
Yep.
Getting hammered. Actually, there's a number of crude jokes in this movie.
There's one I wrote down that I loved.
Oh yeah, what was that?
Yeah, this comes out. I mean, well,
we
we haven't explained the plot fully
yet.
yet.
You're right. We'll get to it later.
It has to do with actual plot, so.
Yeah, sorry. All right, I'm jumping the boat. Okay.
In a lapse of judgment with surrounding village children, a child steals a Nestle Crunch bar from Doyle's backpack. The rapper, when found, lets the NVA know of the local villagers' cooperation with the Americans. As punishment, some name like Brigadier Win. That's how you say that. Nguyen. Win.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you try and pronounce the N, but Nguyen. I think so. Yeah.
Of the NBA orders his subordinate Captain Quang to kill the villagers' elephant right before a spiritual festival to aid the villagers. Cahill promises to replace the slain elephant before their upcoming ceremony, while Doyle, whom the villagers blame for the elephant's death, reluctantly agrees to help.
That really upset me. Okay, so first of all, like that's messed up. Like the whole elephant death thing, like that really bothered me. Yeah, I'm glad it happened off screen, obviously, but it's like, oh man, you know, like that's pretty hardcore. But what bothered me even more is the fact that they blamed Ray Liotta instead of blaming Nestle, like because like the movie made sure to show a close up of
goddamn
Nestle
crunch.
chocolate crunch.
That
like,
fucking crunch bar.
Yeah, it's an unusual use of advertisement when a candy bar company, or in this case Nestle, decides to advertise their chocolate bar by saying we're going to be responsible for the death of an elephant. Like what? You know, but then the thing too was Liotta, and it's like what?
The thing too wasn't like the crunch came out around then, and I remember it just having aggressive advertising to try and sell it. But this was
It's
totally
possible.
like a
Yeah.
uh,
Like, what were they trying to say with the advertising? You know, like Nestle Crunch bars
it
are
exists.
that
Hey,
they're
we
the favorite
exist.
chocolate of Vietnam War soldiers. I mean, I don't know. Just oh well. But it was still an interesting sort of advertisement. You know, not as interesting as Mac and Me, obviously. You know, but we don't literally have people dancing for Nestle Crunch, so
That would have been amazing.
yeah. Ray Liotta starts breakdancing.
Yeah. All right. At camp, Major Peterson assigns Cahill and Doyle, with Doyle in command, to secure and deliver a new elephant to the villagers, as well as 2 soldiers, Specialist 4 Harvey Ashford, played by Dougie Doug.
Yeah. And then you also got
and Specialist 5 Lawrence Farley, Corin Nemec.
Corey Nemec, who I haven't seen since, like, what was that TV movie? He's been in like a dozen different things. Anyway,
I don't know him. Yeah, this is the country boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in
I don't know him.
He was in The Stand. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
Cahill blackmails Chief Warrant Officer 3 David Poole, played by Dennis Leary, into helping as well.
Yeah, I appreciated Dennis Leary being in this movie. You know, I love his voice.
Yeah. And he had like in the beginning, he was, had a signature cigar type stuff too. He was smoking.
Yeah. He was really entertaining.
Yeah. He played like a suit, not like an actual army guy, but like, paper pusher.
Pretty much, yeah.
Who can get anything for anybody.
Yeah, because he's got an amazing voice. Like, Dennis Leary, he's got like one of my all-time favorite voices. I don't even know how to explain it. I can't even imitate it. It's too good.
Yeah.
So they purchased an elephant known as Botat from a local Vietnamese trader, played by James Hong.
Oh yeah, I was like, hey, I saw you just a little bit ago.
Yeah. Yeah. That was cool. Yeah.
They also agreed to take along Botat's child handler, Lynn Lee.
Yeah, it was Lay.
Lynn, L-I-N-H, I think.
Yeah.
It was
Lynn, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, like, because there was some kind of like negotiation thing, I guess. Like,
yeah, because he says he has experience with verbal commands guiding the
elephant. Yeah. So he's kind of like an elephant whisperer, I guess.
Yeah.
You could say.
For this particular, because I mean, we do find out he grew up with the elephant.
Yeah, we find out he's actually got good reason to be an elephant whisperer. So he's actually probably got the best excuse in the entire world, to be honest. Yeah.
Oh, and I guess that is where around the joke comes in. I'll tell.
Oh yeah,
it was. I forget who asked, but I think it was just like, okay, so anyone know how to work an elephant? And then what's his name? Dougie Doug.
Yeah.
he just says, he just says, I was in love with a fat woman once, but she never listened to me.
Yeah, that was a pretty edgy joke.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, gave me a good laugh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it caught me off guard.
Yeah.
It's like, I wasn't expecting that from a Disney movie, but then again, it was the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about the same era that brought us Cool Runnings.
Yeah, which he was also in.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Actually, wait, was Cool Runnings a Disney movie? I don't even.
Yep.
Was it? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Damn, that's a classic.
Yeah. You rewatched that one.
Damn. I actually another one I rewatched not too long ago was Remember the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, I burped.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I
And
like that movie.
Yeah, watching this back too, it did remind me of like, wow, Disney used to be way different. It's now just pumping out franchise movies and re-releases, and
Yeah,
they actually had some original stuff back in the 90s.
yeah.
I
Well,
mean, even if this was based off like some book or true story thing, but
yeah, I still believe every once in a while Disney can like put out a gem. I heard that one movie with that dog movie with Willem Dafoe was really good. But I don't remember the name of it. Like Ogo or Togo or something like that. I don't know. I want to see that.
yeah.
But it's a dog movie, so maybe it's not that original.
Along the way, NVA soldiers attempt to stop them. Following a failed air transport, the soldiers use a combination of methods to reach Piku Air Force Base before the final stage of their journey to Dacme.
Yeah, that whole airplane thing, that was mostly just the fact that they none of these guys could get their shit together. Like, first of all, they show up to the plane, and the guy who's flying the plane, they haven't even communicated to him that they're bringing an elephant, so he's already like deals off. No way, because as soon as that thing starts moving, it's going to throw us off kilter, and we're not going to be able to balance the plane. And you need to be able to balance the plane to fly it. So I don't want you to bring the elephant. So they agree to sedate the elephant, which of course gives them the excuse of having a suppository joke where they put a pill
of course
the elephant's butthole. And then of course the little kid is like, no, I don't want the elephant to fly. So nobody can even agree on what the fuck to do.
And what's also just in general what's surprising, this seems like it would be a fairly easy thing to do and cost efficient, just move an elephant or get an elephant to a village. I don't know why it took so much red tape, seeming cost a lot of people.
I think it's because they had a time limit, like it needed to be done by a certain day, like or something like that. And they were just like, "Oh, this is the quickest way. You got to do it in the next like however many hours."
It just seems like an easy thing they could have done, and it would have been no big deal. But
or maybe just radio them, be like, "Hey, is it okay if your elephant is a couple hours late?" Like just something, just anything. Danny Glover could have, I don't know, convinced somebody, negotiated somewhere, sucked somebody's dick. Like
LBJ.
Yeah, there you go. It's just something. But instead, it's like, no, we don't have time for that. We got to put the elephant on an airplane, give it a tranquilizer suppository, and then put it on the plane. But then while it's on the plane, it wakes up, and of course, like that leads to a whole other situation where one party on the plane is trying to get the elephant off the plane. The people up front decide, oh, let's just shoot the damn thing. And meanwhile, Ray Liotta, Danny Glover, and what's the boy's name again?
Lin.
The Lin kid manages to do his elephant whispering thing while they close the hatch. But at that point they're like, all right, fuck it, it's not worth it, let's just get the elephant off now.
And one of those guys from the plane was Tuco from Breaking Bad.
Really?
Yeah, that was funny.
Shit, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was an interesting scene, because I don't know, there was actually quite a few little suspenseful bits here and there where they're dealing with this elephant, and I don't know. I can't imagine that an elephant would be easy to work with on a film. So I don't know.
You're supposed to be pretty smart, right? I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm sure there's some CGI and animatronics here and there, but for the most part, the elephant looked pretty real. you know. So good effects on Disney's part for sure. Like, yeah.
Yep. So it skips a lot.
Yeah.
A
Okay.
lot.
Like how much? Like the whole movie, or
Pretty much like the next one is
there's not much to say really. They mostly just argue and constantly have conflicts with each other.
Go from one plane to another.
Yeah. There's a little bit of character development with the boy. At some point
I wasn't a fan of the. I don't know if it was just because he didn't talk much in the beginning, but I felt like his like accent. That I don't know if it was a real one or not, but like felt kind of the kid's accent got worse as the movie went along. And he used
by the name of by his real name, I'd say it was real Dinty Lee. Dintian
and that's his. I looked him up too, and this was the only movie he's ever been in as well.
Oh, okay.
His only credit. So,
I mean, sometimes actors whose English isn't the first language, like it can be hard to sort of like.
Yes, he got more comfortable on camera. Changed the way he was acting or something.
Yeah.
It also was just, I think, how it was written too, because you're just speaking in third person the whole time. I was like, stop speaking in third person, kid.
I mean, I think I was enchanted enough by his relationship with the elephant that I didn't really notice. And
I just noticed the third person stuff mostly. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's how Vietnamese language works. You speak in third person. Maybe that's how it works, but I don't know.
I think what I liked about it was that like it wasn't like a typical type of like obnoxious kid type of thing. It was like where the kid just basically stands around and it's mostly just useless and acts cute. It's more like a movie where the kid is actually mostly kind of angry and pissed off throughout the majority of the film, and pretty much only has a relationship with the elephant. Although some like he does eventually develop a bond with the Danny Glover character, which eventually builds to something rather sad. But like for the most part though, it's mostly just the kid kind of just being an orphan and doing his thing. So but it wasn't really the main part of the movie. It was more just kind of in the background while the Ray Liotta and company were duking it out. Dennis Leary throwing punchlines at everybody. It's like, all right, yeah, I'll take it. And then a lot of shit jokes, like which I kind of got tired of. There's only so much elephant shit I can take. It's like, farts. It's like, yeah, more farting. More pooping. Yay.
They brought the suppositories up a couple times too. It's like, oh, you like to Leota's character. Oh, you I knew you liked that.
Yeah. Like, okay. I don't know. I guess the people who made this movie like suppositories or something.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. At Pleiku Air Base, Major Peterson notifies the captains that the mission has been canceled. The Ho Chi Minh Trail has changed direction and they no longer need the support of the local village. A CIA airstrip near Dak Mi has already been destroyed by the NVA, making a landing by plane impossible.
Yeah.
Against regulations, they commandeer a cargo aircraft intending to parachute themselves and Botat into Dak Mi. The aircraft comes under enemy fire, forcing them and Botat to parachute out early. They land unharmed in and around the village, except for Ashford, who gets stuck in a tree and becomes separated from the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was intense. I was like, okay, I didn't expect that, but I'll take
that's
it.
where I thought he was going to die. This whole situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been like, oh, is it going to happen?
Oh, that reminds me of the joke he had was like the kid was telling him why they love elephants so much. And he was like, so basically there's a godfather elephant, like higher than God. And it was an elephant and he was white. And he flew with the clouds and all this shit and had made love to a goddess and made, human, like regular elephants. And then when he like, Dougie Doug basically says, I like that story with the elephants, but next time you tell it, say it was a black elephant.
I didn't expect that, but it just made me laugh.
I was like, oh, that was so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, that made me laugh quite a bit. It's like, okay, it's like you're pretty shameless. But his delivery was like, oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
NVA forces suddenly appear, threatening to take the remaining soldiers hostage and kill the elephant. Ashford, however, is able to free himself and create a diversion long enough to distract and incapacitate the NVA troops. The villagers hold their festival with Bo Tat in the place of honor. When Cahill radios the airbase, he is informed that the supply route has changed direction again, back to the village. That fact, combined with their capture of high-ranking enemy officers, has prompted the U.S. Army to sanction the relief mission post facto and confirm Doyle's original mission to replace Cahill as liaison officer in the village.
Yeah, okay.
There you go.
That's about it, really.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie made me believe in magic by having the scene where Ray Liotta jumps out of the airplane to save the falling elephant.
Oh yeah.
And,
It's fun.
Which was cut between green screen of the actual elephant and like an animatronic elephant that seemed like it was actually parachuting.
Yeah. That was wild.
Like you could, because the elephant, the real footage was like very stiff and the trunk was just flopping in the air.
Yeah. That's so funny. Oh my god. And like when it was like turning to, like it looked like it was like a statue almost. Like it just the way it didn't turn correctly, like for an elephant that would be that heavy,
I didn't think that would work at all. I mean, just realistically, I don't know how that would work, but of course.
Yeah, unless it was tranked or something.
Yeah. This time it wasn't. They didn't even bring up the tranks for this mission.
Yeah, like it definitely move around and cause itself to fall out or something.
Yeah. It's like, okay, what? But Ray Liotta and company managed to get the elephant to the village. And then the guy decides to try to shoot the elephant, which that doesn't go over well because basically the whole cast decides to just beat the crap out of him at once, which made me laugh. Let's see. There's a sad scene between the Lynn and Danny Glover where Danny Glover says he has to go back to his home. And the kid gets really upset because Danny Glover's essentially been the only adult that he's actually had, and he's basically the only, like, the closest thing to a father that he's had, because what happened before, the film kind of briefly explains, is that the elephant actually saved the kid's life during a village raid, or something like that. And
his dad died. His parents were killed in him.
Yeah. So it's like a Tarzan, Jungle Book type of backstory where this kid, or Pete's Dragon, where this kid, gets rescued by a large, animal / beast and is taken care of by it. And so he has to say goodbye to Danny Glover, who's going back to America. And so there's like a brief heart to heart. Then the kid just runs away and plays with some villagers or some village kids. And Danny Glover was like nothing. And then everybody else kind of just stands around looking into the sunset. And then they play that song from Dumbo that I don't think people really want to talk about it anymore. And then the movie ends.
Yeah.
Disney.
Yeah, it's pretty cute, pretty cute little 90s movie. What year was this? 94?
95.
Oh, okay. All right. I guessed it was like 94. So
Yeah.
I guess 95 makes a little more sense. So little did we know that before Ray Liotta did the voice of Tommy Vercetti in Grand Theft Auto Vice City, he was making the Disney money.
Right,
Yeah.
shit.
Oh, do you guys have any more thoughts on Operation Dumbo Drop? By the way, the title didn't really have much to do with the movie. Like Dumbo wasn't the name of any character or anything like
Nope.
that.
Wasn't
Just used-
even named. I don't think did they even say Dumbo? Maybe once in
once,
passing. I
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it was kind of a dumb title, actually. Like, that's kind of another reason why I didn't want to see it. It's like A, it's a war movie, boring, and B, Operation Dumbo Drop. That title sucks. Like,
Yep. Yeah, I'd say I'd give it a 3. It's kind of standard Disney fare, I guess, but with a Vietnam War background.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a cutesy family movie with a Vietnam War twist. Which I guess if you're going to introduce the concept of the Vietnam War to children, I guess this is an okay way to do it. I mean, it's only a little racist. It's not that bad, I guess. I mean, it mostly is pretty okay regarding. I mean, I didn't really like the way they criticized their food culture. It's kind of like, I don't know, it felt weird, but whatever.
Oh yeah.
I get what they were trying to do with it though, and I guess they kind of bounced it out a little bit by saying that that the West eats nothing but packaged food, so maybe that makes it a little bit more fair, but felt like there was a better way they could have done that. Not to get all, Disney could do things better, let me put on my microscopic glasses and scrutinize every mistake. I'm not that type of person. But I guess if you want to find stuff to criticize, there is some stuff. But I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it especially for a Disney movie. Because it's just thinking of what Disney is today, and then looking back,
Yeah.
seeing what it was making, I was like, oh shit, it was just interesting, at least.
Yeah. Definitely different. I'd give it probably a solid 3, honestly.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 3 myself, because it is definitely watchable as well. Like,
Yeah.
you can just throw it on and not really have any complaints. It was a Disney movie, so yeah, well made, of course, and everything.
Yeah.
So
Easy to watch too. Like, it moves fast for the type of movie it is.
And it still blows my mind they made a Vietnam War movie.
Yeah,
I was just like, oh god, Disney, what? And I also was just thinking the whole time that elephants are wild, the creature. Like, they pick shit. They're huge. They use their nose as what do they call it? I mean, a hand, but appendage.
They use their trunk for all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, nature's crazy.
It really is. Elephants are beautiful, unique, strange creatures.
Super smart too.
Yeah, but it was fun to kind of see the elephants in this movie. Like, I feel like the elephants interacted really well with the actors.
Yeah.
Ray Liotta had good chemistry with the elephants.
And what's the guy that was going home? Doug, I don't know his character. Dougie Doug. He was going home in a week, and so we asked the kid, like, oh, what are some superstitions or whatever? And he said, well, elephants are really good luck. Just pet it. So he was like, there's a scene where he was just petting it for a while.
Yeah.
He just wanted to make it, because he was carrying a rabbit's foot the whole time, and he was petting the elephant. And
that was funny. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't know. It was a pretty charming movie. I'm glad I saw it. It wasn't the boring war movie that I thought it was going to be. It actually ended up being, pretty good.
Yeah,
not bad.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the last thing I would say about this Operation Dumbo Drop movie is that, even though the main plot is about an elephant and transporting it to a particular location, like, I feel like the movie, like, the message of the movie is kind of more about, like, loving people who are different, which I think is a good message. So I mean,
and I think that both Liotta and Glover's characters had a nice arc. I like they had an argument on a bridge during the movie that I thought was actually really good. because
Yeah,
they
it's
kind of just
cathartic.
they called each other out on both of their bullshits, and they were both right. So
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, it was a good moment. I appreciated a lot of like what they were going for with this movie. So yeah, definitely an unexpected sort of fun time.
hmm
So now I guess I should talk about my movie, which was made in 1997. It is a movie that I think a lot of people have seen, if I'm not mistaken. Because I know I've heard the title like spoken by at least a few people. Turbulence. And it takes place on an airplane mostly. So it's another one of those type of movies. And the thing about most airplane movies is that usually the people in them have to deal with two threats. They have to deal with the threat of the airplane and whatever other threat is going on the plane. But in this movie, the airplane doesn't seem to be as much of a threat. At least in my, I mean, I don't know. It's hard. I guess I'll explain what I mean, but
it's a Christmas movie too, by the way.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Which I didn't realize it was a Christmas movie.
One more you can add to the list if you want to. Looking for some good Christmas movies.
Yeah. Well, there are sequels to this one.
I saw that. Yeah, I haven't seen them, but
I've seen the third one.
Yo, you have?
The third one, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure.
Is it? I want to see the sequels after seeing this one because, I mean, this movie was. I don't know. This movie really pissed me off. All right, so let's see here. All right. So yeah, from what I understand, this movie actually, it didn't do well in the theater, but it did well with rentals. Like it actually, I guess, was the #1 most rented movie of the year or something like that. Like
yeah.
1997.
Looking at the Wikipedia, $55 million budget, and made 11.5 million box office.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I mean, yeah, I guess as far as like money goes, I could sort of see where some of that money went. There are a few moments here and there that look kind of cool.
For a 90s movie, right? What year is that?
97.
So there's a fair amount of plain CGI.
Yeah.
So I can see a lot of money going to that. Was Liotta a big name by 97 too?
Well, Goodfellas kind of put him on the map, and then he kind of rode off the success of that throughout the rest of the 90s. Mostly just getting put in whatever people wanted to put him in, which there's a lot. Like I mean, No Escape was probably the most notorious like film that he was in the 90s, other than Goodfellas. But Turbulence, yeah. So the movie starts out with Ray Liotta kind of, after a series of little moments, gets arrested for apparently, murdering, I think, 5 women or something like that. And he's, going with this whole thing of like, oh, this detective framed me. He planted evidence, and he kind of keeps saying that again and again throughout the movie. And there's another guy. Is there like a plot summary? Because there is. It's hard to. Yeah, I'm not good at describing this stuff, so
I can help out too, at least.
Yeah. Like there's another killer.
So yeah, with that,
I don't remember if he was a killer or not.
No, he was just a robber, I think, just like a heist guy. He played. He's the dude that was Mad Eye Moody in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Which is weird. He was an Irishman, but they made him have a Southern accent,
which didn't sound good at all.
No. It was awful.
Oh yeah. His accent was awful in this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was. I was like, oh, okay. Oof.
But the thing with the planting evidence, I'll add, is that it did, because like right when he was caught and everything, it
Yeah.
kind of made it look like he actually was the killer. How, based on what Liotta was saying, was like, you never would have caught me, and he was like even just calling out the officers' names like he knew them by their name and everything, and you never would have
Yeah.
caught me unless you didn't cheat, you know.
Right.
So you
Yeah,
kind
I
of
mean,
got the picture pretty early on that he was the bad guy. Just
yeah, it was pretty obvious, honestly. But the movie kind of treats it like it isn't obvious, which
yeah,
really irritated the hell out of me because then it made me feel like the movie was trying it started to confuse me. Like the movie was trying to like lead me off track so badly that it actually confused me because it made me feel like it was hyper focusing on the robber and trying to make him out to be this sadistic psychopath, and it was devoting a ridiculous amount of time to Ray Liotta and trying to make him into seem almost like he's going to be like the action hero of the movie, which annoyed the crap out of me because like he was obvious, like he was an obvious psychopath. Like the movie like
Yeah.
didn't even do a good job of trying to like hide
Especially
that
the tone he was using to ask her questions.
yeah, he was
Yeah.
being that creepy, charming dude to the flight
Yeah.
attendants.
What's your favorite song? What's your favorite sport or whatever he was saying? Like,
I'll have what you're hat. What do you recommend? Oh,
yeah.
it sounds nice. I'll have that.
Yeah, it's like, okay, Ted Bundy, like, yep, 100%. And yeah, I think they even say something like that. Like
They
Yeah.
do mention Ted Bundy. Yeah, he was like, I don't
Yeah.
know if he did it or not. He's so Ted Bundy. Yeah.
Yeah, Catherine Hicks, who I thought was going to be the main character. Well, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. All right. So what does the plot summary
Oh
say?
wait, did you want to
Oh.
go to that? You remember that conversation we were talking about with two women speaking behind his back, or whatever?
Oh,
it-
yeah. Yeah.
Because
like
I mean, it might not have actually been the one I was thinking of, but
I was thinking of the one where, like, after Ray Liotta kind of does whatever it is with the flight attendant, like when he says that one comment to her, and then Catherine Hicks is like, "Did you know that he murdered his wife or whatever?" Like she like points to it, and the same goddamn thing happens in Unforgettable.
yeah,
Like,
okay, yeah.
where the lady's like, "He murdered his wife," and in this movie, Catherine Hicks does the same thing.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah,
The
that
thing
made me
that-
laugh. And Ray Liotta standing there going like, "Oh, oh," like oblivious, like a deer about to get hit by a car. Oh, oh. Like I just love that. That makes me made me happy to see him act the same way in under the same circumstances.
Okay, so the conversation I was thinking of, which I guess it isn't the same, but it was they immediately failed the Bechdel test of like, because the one flight attendant, I don't know, got stood up or something by her fiance, and like she showed her that there's no ring, she didn't get married, and it was hard, like the worst failure of the Bechdel test I've ever seen, of them just talking about men and their relationships with men, and it was like, oh, it was so cringy. Like they couldn't.
You could tell.
They had a Chekhov's gun as well in this movie, so they're trying to hit any Hollywood trope they could.
Yeah, pretty much. It's no airport. I'll put it that way. All right. So there's a Wikipedia plot summary. I bet they'll probably do a better job of explaining the plot because I'm all over the place with this one. Like this movie just it pissed me off in a bad way. All right. I'll stop talking for the moment.
All right. Ryan Weaver, played by Ray Liotta, also known as the Lonely Heart Strangler.
Even the Wikipedia summary doesn't hide it.
Yeah, I didn't catch that, his nickname, but
yeah, neither do I. Oh well.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, also known as Lonely Heart Strangler, an accused serial killer and rapist, is arrested in New York City despite his claims of innocence. Even the police lieutenant Aldo Hines, that seems like a very stereotypical police name.
Yeah, Aldo Hines. And he's only in like maybe a handful of scenes. He's not even important to the plot. But
Not really. Yeah.
He's like in 5 scenes total.
Yeah. At one point broke protocol during the arrest, which later enraged Weaver. The authorities.
It's unfair. You
Oh.
caught me in an unfair way. How dare you?
Right.
The authorities have enough hard evidence to have Weaver transported to Los Angeles to face trial. He and another prisoner, a bank robber named Stubbs, played by Brandon Gleeson, are escorted by 4 U.S. Marshals on a Boeing 474 on a commercial flight. Even though it is Christmas Eve, the 747 is nearly empty with only 11 people on board.
Yeah. Now I've never I have traveled on Christmas before, and the plane that I was on was actually pretty full. But
it's usually the case.
Yeah. But I do know people who have experienced, and I don't think it happens that often, but maybe it does, have experienced traveling on Christmas Day and being on planes that aren't full. So I
also think this is
but
I think this is also probably a movie of its time, where, because I think Flight wasn't as big, because there's definitely pre 9/11, and like, because they were making like, oh, I thought this was a smoking, like there's a smoking jokes and shit like that.
That's true.
I just don't think Flight was that like as a big thing as it was like in the 90s, from what I remember.
Okay.
As it was during the 2000s when it started ramping up and being more cost efficient or something. But that's just me remembering as a kid. I don't fucking know.
I mean, that's the thing. I can only go by my own experience, and usually traveling on Christmas Day is a freaking nightmare. If and even though I do know people who claim that they've been on planes that weren't full on Christmas, these planes are like literally almost empty. Like, this is like desolate. Like, is this plane about to go out of business despite its size? I mean,
it's losing money for sure on on the flight. But you also just have to question, like, I don't know if this is how they would transport these type of people.
Yeah, that's
true. They
true.
use government. I'm assuming they would use government, like fucking government planes and shit to do this anyway.
Yeah, some Con Air shit.
Yeah, Con Air. That's what
exactly.
I was thinking.
Con Air.
There was a Con Air reference in that movie. But yeah,
I love Con Air. I have to rewatch that one, because that's the movie that this movie only dreams of being. I guess the jury is still out on whether or not the plane in this movie is, I guess, realistic enough.
That's what in this movie particularly, I'm wondering, like, because one of the complaints I had about this was it was so long. There was like just a lot of airplane mumbo jumbo.
Yeah,
a lot of them just walking through the plane. Like, was it like partially sponsored by Boeing? Like, to say, hey, look at this new plane we got, isn't it sweet? It has because the steps they took to put on the air, like the autopilot and shit, were so extensive and everything. Like, I get wanting to go for realism, but you could have still cut out 5 minutes of them explaining how to turn on the autopilot and still seem realistic and passable as realistic.
I mean, not only that, but the autopilot didn't really do any good, to be honest. But all right, we'll get to that. I just all right. You can keep reading. Man,
Nearly empty with only 11 people. Oh yeah, they like made sure to go through all of these people.
Yeah,
they made sure a little bit.
Yeah,
like the regular passengers. Wow.
Oh, and one thing I laughed at was there's one of the regular passengers was like a skateboard kid, and he was skateboarding inside the fucking plane.
Yeah, it was like plenty of room.
A lot of room. Yeah.
Yep. As soon as I saw him, I'm like, that's the character I'm rooting for. But then it ended up that's all he did was just skateboarded. And then
Oh, there's a funny little gag though that he tried to order a Heineken in like this meekish little voice.
Oh yeah,
and she just gave him a milk.
Yeah, that was cute. I like that. But yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. So sorry if you hear that. My cat is meowing insanely loudly. Anyway, so yeah, so they're going through the every single room of the plane. Like, there's a lot of classes, I guess, or whatever you call them. Like,
Yeah.
Mm.
You got like the skateboard kid, the old
Yeah.
couple,
yeah, old couple part two.
snobby rich lady,
Yeah,
another dude in first class that you don't really see.
that guy
Oh,
with
yeah.
who kept on yelling, and then what's his name with the eyebrows? Yeah. I don't know. Like,
They
none
said
of
so
these
much.
characters are interesting. Oh yeah.
They set him up like they were going to be throughout the whole movie, but
And
you
then
know.
they don't. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, all of these characters could have been potentially interesting, and instead I guess I'll just spoil it. They all end up getting locked in a crew closet.
Yep.
It's like, what? What's the point of
Mhm.
that? That's what kind of crap is that? That's bullshit.
I don't know why they did that at all. Like, just cut it out, and it would have been better if they just made it like a government plane. To be
Yeah,
honest, like just with these flight attendants commandeering and no regular passengers, because they didn't do anything at all.
Yeah, either cut them out, kill them, or do something with them, because like, at least show what they're doing in the closet. Like,
Yeah.
are they
Right?
trying?
We
Are they
don't
talking
know.
about how they're afraid? Are they? Because the movie. Okay, so the movie, like, Ray Liotta says something about how he killed them all. Oh, spoiler! Ray Liotta's the killer, by the way. Even though the
He did the
Wikipedia plus
things.
summary already, yeah. He even says something about how he killed all the passengers.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
says
But-
everyone's dead. He said, yeah, everyone's
Yeah,
dead
he
at
says
one
everybody's
point.
dead, and yet you already know that's not the truth, because if that were the truth, you would have seen it by that point. Like,
Or we don't really know if it's the truth or not, because he does lock them in,
I
and
mean,
like
that's
Yeah.
the thing. That's
could
the
have.
last thing you
There's a
see is
lot
that-
of chunks missing of Ray Liotta doing whatever the fuck he wants while she's trying to pilot the plane.
Yeah, and you don't see them
Maybe?
till the end either. So
Yeah,
I felt like they were pulling a bait and switch. Like, I knew, like,
yeah, I figured,
when they
but I
didn't-
also
because they would have shown the bodies if he had actually done that. I feel like, like,
Yeah.
at that point, like, there had to, otherwise there wouldn't have been a reason for them to not have shown the bodies. Like, what, were they just going to wait to the end of the movie and then have the doors open and have all the bodies be like, that would have been a badass ending. That would have ramped up my rating if the film had ended that way. I would have been like, that's pretty fucking badass. But no, they
Right.
don't. Like, instead they
Yeah.
like totally pull an obvious bait and switch. Like, there's
Yeah.
no reason they couldn't have just either, like, there were so many things they could have done with it, and instead they just decided to be lazy and just do what they did.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised
So,
either way if
yeah.
they killed him off camera or not, just because of how insignificant it was for them to even be in the movie. So
Yeah,
like,
that's-
oh, we didn't check this. We didn't have our script supervisor go over this before we started filming.
yeah.
yeah, I mean, at that point, might as well just not had passengers, just have the
Yeah.
flight attendants, because that's
Yeah.
basically all it was.
Mm-hmm.
Could have cut some
much.
length.
And even like half of the flight attendants were useless too.
Yeah,
Yeah, because two of them got shoved in the closet.
Yeah.
2 of the 4.
yeah.
Yes.
think-
Yeah. Yeah. That's, yeah, I think I
Yeah.
numbered out. Yeah.
Yeah, Catherine Hicks. I like, once her character got bumped off, that's kind of when I was like, all right, this movie's not. I don't like this movie, because, like, I didn't like she was literally the only character in the movie that I could tolerate, other than the skateboard kid.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, because there's so much stupidity that happens in this movie from every angle.
Yeah, from
like,
everybody.
Literally everybody does the wrong thing at the wrong moments.
Yeah.
And except for her, she just kind of like, I wasn't even rooting for her because she only popped up a couple of times. But I was like,
Right.
after she gets killed, I was like, and then after the main lady starts fucking up a bunch, I was like, wait, this other lady died for no real reason. She was really the only smart one.
And not only that, but Catherine Hicks was the only other character in the movie who showed any personality besides Ray Liotta.
Mhm.
Everybody else was just generic, fucking like the main hero was the most generic character out of everybody. She was just basic flight
So
attendant
boring.
who just does what she's told and has literally no emotions whatsoever.
Except
She's like
for
a blank
scared.
slate. Yeah, except for scared. And yet she doesn't even act that scared. And yet her character's supposed to have anxiety. Like the film actually takes the time to establish that she is an anxious, like claustrophobic type of person. And then it doesn't do anything with it. Like she just manages to just get by and get along with everything that's happening, and then successfully, well, okay, all right, yeah, okay, so you got the two killers on the plane. Go on.
All right. During the flight, Stubbs breaks free while using the bathroom and begins a shootout with the marshals. A stray bullet fired from one of the marshals' sidearms punches a hole in the fuselage, instantly triggering an explosive decompression before the hole is sealed with a briefcase. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I was literally like the dumbest shit. It's like the briefcase goes and it just stays there the rest of the movie. It's like, are you serious? Like a leather briefcase is literally just gonna get stuck on a wall, and that's somehow gonna prevent the plane from decompressing from the inside. Are you serious? That's so stupid. Like that doesn't even make any sense. Like logically, and I don't even get hung up by logic in movies like this.
I don't even know how that stuff works. I just know that shit can happen. But I was like, that doesn't. That's not gonna hold.
Yeah. That made me so angry.
Like,
and they never revisit it. They never go back into that bathroom.
I think they opened it up at one point.
Did they?
When they were searching for that other lady, because he tells her she's in the bathroom.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, I don't. But
they never address it.
No.
Yeah,
like
they just ignore the briefcase on the wall.
Yeah.
Like
at least have the door be closed or something.
Yeah, I hate it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't. Dumb, stupid. Next.
Amidst the chaos, the captain is fatally shot, and the first officer dies when his head slams into the yoke, disengaging the autopilot in the process.
Bullshit.
Yes. It was so stupid. I was so pissed off at watching this whole sequence of events. Even I don't
literally like what? Like what? And like how did that? That was 100% his fault too. He literally like stood up and then like ran, like he like headbutted a wall and died.
Yeah.
Stupid.
He headbutted it like the auto and then his seatbelt choked him out. He like got his head caught in his seatbelt.
That was so stupid. I couldn't even believe it.
Like the shootout was happening, they knew it was happening, and the main pilot got out. It was like, even pre 9/11, I don't think a pilot, like I think that he wouldn't have gone out.
Yeah.
And immediately get shot. Like there's like Dunzo.
Yeah. But you expect me to believe that while the pilot of an airplane is getting shot, the co-pilot is somehow getting killed in a freak self-inflicted accident? Like that's so dumb. That's unbelievably dumb. Like it's like the people who wrote this movie, like they were trying to just find reasons for things to happen. They were like scraping the bottom of the barrel of their imagination.
Like, how do we get rid of the co-pilot? We need to, like, they spent 12 days and this is the best they came up with. Like,
God. And you know what makes me even more angry is they did the exact same thing with Airplane versus Volcano. Like, so this is a reoccurring trope, is having the lowly co-pilot randomly get killed for no reason in a airplane disaster movie.
It just goes to show how many precautions there are to having safe flight is like, well, it's a hard thing that Hollywood can't even get rid of. Is okay, we have to get rid of co-pilot in some stupid fashion because otherwise this movie wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I just get both the pilot and the co-pilot killed at the same time in some way. It's just that's the
that'd be
best
the
solution.
easiest way to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even the same gunshot, that would work way better.
Yep.
Yeah, because honestly, I'm sick of seeing that, and I know I've seen it more than just these two movies, where something happens to the pilot, and then the co-pilot is like, "Oh, what was that?" Or something stupid happens, and then they find a reason to leave their position and then die somehow. Like, I know I've seen that in something else before.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Anyway, go on.
Weaver frees himself and attempts to save the last remaining marshal, but fails when both Stubbs shoots the marshal dead after being shot himself.
Yeah. Crazy shootout on an airplane between two idiots. It's like, and then Ray Liotta is like, oh, I'll save everybody. And I'm like sitting here thinking, you fucking dumbasses. You all deserve to die right now.
Weaver appears to be horrified by the idea, increasing the passengers' trust in him. With the pilots dead, Terry Halloran, a flight attendant, makes her way into the cockpit and learns she's the only one left capable of keeping the 747 from crashing.
Whoops.
To make matters worse, the plane is heading into a storm which threatens severe turbulence.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. For a movie called Turbulence, there's actually not very much turbulence in it. Like,
right.
So she's heading toward a level 6 storm, which of course, she's got to have the hilarious line of saying, "Oh, level 6 on a scale of 1 to 10," and the guy says, "No, on a scale of 6." It's like, yeah.
I'll give him credit for one turbulence scene of it, the fucking plane flipping completely upside down.
Yeah, they went there with this one.
They fucking went. I was like, no, this would not happen. This would not happen.
Yeah, nope.
That's when I want to see those other passengers in that tiny room.
Right?
Yeah. They're going,
that was my immediate thought at the end when they were freed out. I was like, well, how many of them survived that flip? Like,
yeah. Although I will say that the actual part with Liotta and the flight attendant, when the actual interior is flipping, that was kind of cool. Like, that was a neat.
Yeah, it was well
Yeah.
shot.
That was a neat little bit of movie magic that you don't see very often. Like, when I just like that and they showed it a few times, that one shot where the room is turning, and it kind of reminds me of whatever that one music video is with the guy dancing around, and the thing is turning. I don't know. Anyway, that was
Inception.
Inception, yeah, that was I was thinking
yeah.
too.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Inception and Sabotage. What was that movie? Sabotage, and also that one moment in the Lost World Jurassic Park when they're in the RV and the dinosaurs are turning the RV over. And, I always enjoy little action scenes like that where the room is literally getting shifted around.
Yeah.
I also like walking through those haunted house rides, because I went to a few of those in Kansas City, Missouri, and some of my favorite moments in those were those weird ones where you go into the room and then the room seems to be shifting around. Like, something about that's really cool to me. So some points for that little scene there.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, it still would have been cooler to see the passengers in the crew closet, though. That would have been the real. That would have been the real action scene. So.
Weaver's behavior becomes increasingly erratic since he is paranoid of being sentenced to death upon landing and occasionally suffers nervous breakdowns. He then locks the passengers in the crew's cabin, then attacks and strangles Maggie, Catherine Hicks, one of the other flight attendants, to death.
Yeah, I love Catherine Hicks as an actor, by the way, from Child's Play and what was that show, Seventh Heaven? I mean, that show wasn't any good, but she was great on it.
Yeah. Forgot she was in Child's Play.
Yeah. Although they totally were like uncharitable to her character in the sequel. They just institutionalized her, despite the fact that both she, an FBI agent, or no, a cop and a kid watched the doll come alive and try to kill them. Somehow she's the one that gets institutionalized. That's stupid. Whatever.
I only saw the first one, I think. I don't even know.
One's kind of cool. It's got a neat scene on a conveyor belt. Third one's kind of dorky. It takes place at a military academy. Fifth one's kind of fun because it's got Jennifer Tilly in it. Sixth one's all right. Seventh one's decent. Eighth one's kind of stupid. Remakes kind of interesting. Those are my thoughts on the Child's Play movies.
Now
We
it's
can
a
watch
show.
them all if you want.
Right?
Have you watched
Oh.
the show yet?
No, I haven't watched the show yet, but I have it. Somebody recommended. Somebody told me they that I would like it, and then they gave it to me. It's like, oh, all right. So, looking forward to that.
Yeah, I keep seeing Devin Sawa on Instagram promoting it because he's in it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not
actually-
so. I know Aubrey Plaza was in the remake. Then is that
Yeah.
not in the
Yeah.
show?
Yeah, she was in the remake. She was actually pretty good. She played basically the Catherine Hicks. Well, actually not. The thing about the remake of Child's Play is that it's not really anything like the original. Like, it sort of has the same characters, but not really. Like, it goes in a different direction plot-wise. Like, it's less about the Chucky doll and more about like other, like, you have to kind of see it to get what I mean. But it's more about the corporation being evil rather
Yeah,
than,
wasn't it like more AI related and shit or something?
yeah, it wasn't about a serial killer spirit like the other Child's Play movies were. I actually enjoyed the Child's Play movies a lot, even though I can admit they're fucking stupid as hell. The idea of a little doll being a threat and like having these people have to wrestle a doll, like, that's just the dumbest thing. And I laugh when I see that. I don't find those movies scary at all. I find them really, really stupid, but I still enjoy them, just because they're
Yeah.
fun and silly, and you don't have to think about them much. So
Yep.
Brad Dourif is immortal, so.
Yep.
Anyway, we're kind of jumping off track, but
And that's our review of the Child's Play series.
yeah, or at least mine. I'm always willing to rewatch them though if you guys ever feel like it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
anyway, it's just something to keep in mind. Catherine Hicks though is excellent as always in this movie, even though she's only in the movie for about 5-6 minutes in total. She's pretty lively. So she says Stephen King is her favorite writer. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
because Ray Liotta asks her, "What's
Mhm.
your favorite writer?" She says Stephen King. It's like, ooh, little horror.
All right. Ryan reveals that he did, in fact, commit the murders that he's accused of, although he continues to insist that the evidence against him was planted by Hines. He then calls the FBI control center at LAX and threatens to crash the 747 into the facility since he is now willing to do anything to avoid being arrested.
Yeah. And this is around the time that they decide, maybe it'd be a good idea to shoot down the plane.
Yeah.
As if Ray Liotta is that much of a threat that the government or whoever decides, maybe it'd be a better idea to just destroy the plane and kill a bunch of innocent people. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I think they said by the numbers it was because if it crash landed into LAX, there'd be maybe potential of hundreds of people dying versus just there's technically just her and him left. I know, so like maybe 6, and the guys in the cargo, so like 6 lives versus a couple hundred if he successfully crash lands it into something.
yeah. But that's ends justify the means kind of thinking, which in and of itself is
Fucked
not
up.
really
I mean, they
good.
mentioned it too when they were
Yeah.
saying, when they brought it up, it's like, how would it look of the U.S. government shooting down a commercial aircraft? It was like, wow.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, because they could
Gotta
try
do
to
it.
justify it by saying, "Oh, well, the plane could have could have crashed into LAX, but then people will get all hung up on the could have thing, and it's like that doesn't really. I don't know. It just seems kind of fucked up to blow up a plane where like somebody's trying to actually fight for their life against the serial killer. I don't know. That seems messed up.
Yeah.
Although, now that you mentioned the LAX thing, like, I guess it makes sense, but then again, though, it really doesn't, because according to the logic in this movie, a plane can actually withstand a lot of things without blowing up.
A plane, now I see, like, what are pilots? Apparently planes can just do everything.
In this movie, yeah. I mean,
you just push some buttons. Like, can you get some high school kids in there just to?
I mean, not only can a rookie flight attendant somehow manage to sustain a plane through a level 6 storm, but a plane can also collide with an entire floor full of people, a parking garage, like a number of different things along the way, and still somehow successfully land. Spoiler alert! Successfully land.
Land itself
blowing up. Yeah, land itself without blowing up on autopilot through a level 6 storm.
Like I mean, I'm just so confused. Like like any pilots out there, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do they land themselves these days? It doesn't seem. I'm like,
I mean, maybe in 1997 they were trying something new. Maybe that's why people didn't want to go on airplanes, because
that's why
they were too busy auto landing themselves through LA or whatever.
That's why I mentioned, like, this feels like it could have been like a Boeing ad as well, for like showing all, because it did, it does do all that mumbo jumbo and extensively go through how to turn on the autopilot and showing all of these extensive features of how safe and how anybody could pilot an airplane.
Yeah. First you got to press this button, and then you got to hold this switch and push this, and then hold this, and then pull the toggle switch on the what do you call it, the shift gear toward the center, which she's like, no, I can't reach it. And he's like, well, if you don't, we're gonna blow you up.
Just right. And then she just does anyway.
She manages to do it, but we haven't even talked about the hijinks that Ray Liotta gets into. Go on.
Yeah. His motives have become clear to Terry after she speaks via the aircraft radio with Hines. Terry must be instructed by radio from Captain Bowen how to reprogram the autopilot to land at LAX. But her task is complicated by Weaver's obscene and consistent interruptions.
Wait, did you say his name was Captain Boeing?
Captain Bowen.
Pretty close though.
Yeah.
Getting very, very close. You know, pushing it. Not quite as far as Nestle in our previous discussion, but
so that just confirms it. I think it was partially funded by Boeing.
I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
because there's just so much. It was. I'm not even joking. How much like cut stuff they could have done, but it was showing off this plane. It feels like.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet that they spent half. This movie was how much? 50 million?
55. Yeah.
55. I bet they spent at least half of that on frequent flyer miles.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
After the plane barely survives turbulence during the storm, Weaver breaks into the avionics bay and smashes the server running the primary autopilot software, rendering the first landing attempt unsuccessful and forcing a last-second go-around.
Yeah, see, this is even more examples of why it's a product placement. Like, okay, so even if somebody fucks with the autopilot, there's still a backup autopilot that'll work.
You can still fix it.
What the fuck? How do you take an airplane down then? Besides shooting it, like we almost do.
I guess so.
Yeah, and how did he even know where that stuff was?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe he had studied extensively.
He was smart. That's what they clearly tried to make him out to be. He was like,
he was
And
the guy who grabbed the phone and is like, all right, let me tell you how to do this shit. You know?
Yeah, and he always was like, I think that was what they're trying to highlight too, because they did have to plant the evidence because it was confirmed that the evidence to capture him was planted, and he said, "You never would have gotten me. I'm smarter than all of you." So you know, he's one of those genius serial killers. So maybe he knew.
Right. Yeah, exactly. He's like psycho mad genius. And the guy, he's like at a restaurant or so, I don't remember where he was. Somebody's like, you got a phone call. He's like, not now. He's like, no. He says he's got it's Weaver or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, you know,
That guy
usual
that's useless to the plot.
Yeah, honestly, it added zero. It added literally nothing to the movie, other than Ray Liotta saying, "I killed everybody."
He's trying to be the John Cusack of Con Air, trying to be that character, probably.
Yeah, he tried, but just, just not a whole lot of dorky shittiness, you know, and it didn't work. But Ray Liotta was pretty good in it. You know, actually, I thought Ray Liotta was pretty creepy in this movie.
Yeah, I liked his performance a lot in this movie.
Yeah, if there's one thing that isn't wrong with this movie, and there's a lot wrong with it, but if there's one thing that isn't wrong with it, it's Ray Liotta, who does a pretty
100%.
adequate job as a psychopath. What was that?
Yeah. I was just saying, 100%. I agree. Yeah, he did great in this.
Yeah, I'm glad I saw this movie just for his performance, but yeah. And I don't know if the plot summary said this, but at some point he starts a fire on the plane. Like he's like smoking a cigarette and then he just lights a bowl of rubbish or something on fire. Something
it does happen.
Yeah.
Doesn't say mention it.
Okay. Well, she deals with it.
Oh, even before that, she leaves though too. So that was, I was like, oh, I wrote like again, you're being stupid as fuck. They tell her to stay, and I was like, oh, I said, oh, dumb bitch leaves cockpit. I was like, why would you? Like, you know that? So
it's like, you gotta help! Oh my gosh!
Yeah, at this point, it's confirmed that he's a psycho, but she leaves the cockpit just like for no reason, and then like Ray
has to find out if Catherine Hicks is still alive.
Yeah, and it's just this weird scene of her walking through the whole thing. Again, I think
dead bodies.
Yeah, there's dead body. He like places the dead bodies up in like the seats and shit.
Yeah,
and then I found it like she scares him or something starts happening, and she's running through all the classes and slamming the curtains.
Yeah,
I just was laughing so hard because I was like, okay, it's like she was pretending they were like hard ass locked doors that would stop him from coming through, but no, they're literally just curtains. She was like slamming all of them. She did it like 5 times.
And you know, Nick, I hate to admit this, but I think the movie wanted us to believe that those curtains were hard ass slam metal steel doors too, because the noise that they made when she slammed the curtains shut, like they were just, it felt like they was like she has to set up obstacles for Ray Liotta to somehow conquer.
Yes.
When in reality, all they are is just curtains.
It was so strange that they kept that in, like, because it looked so goofy. They were just like,
yeah.
Like, what the
I thought it sucked ass.
It was so bad.
Like everything about this movie really pissed me off, honestly. Like, and that was just one of many things, you know.
Oh, and then there was that whole there was that, and then the actual safety feature of like the cockpit is like, it's one of those planes that have 2 levels, and the cockpit's on the second one. There's a goddamn like metal sliding locked door they could have had done the whole fucking time, but they just barely used it at the end of the movie. I was like, wait, why weren't you using this thing the whole time? You knew it was there.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
Like, multiple characters.
Like, what the fuck?
I mean, what went wrong in the screenplay department? Like, I'm just trying to, like, I don't know. Oh, okay. Anyway, so what happens next? Like, because it hasn't even talked about what happens with her and the gun and all that.
All right, so the plane skims a rooftop Japanese restaurant and a multi-story parking garage, but regains the air. The plane's landing gear picks up a Ford Ranger pickup, which hinders the next landing at LAX. The backup autopilot is now engaged, and Terry makes efforts to turn the plane around.
Yeah.
The LAX airport chief sends an F-14 Tomcat to intercept the 747. At least they didn't try to pull out airplane versus volcano and drop someone down.
Yeah, that would have made this movie so
Almost
much
expected it. Almost
Yeah.
expected it, honestly.
worse. Yeah. And it was kind of cool to see a Tomcat airplane flying the next to, jetliner or whatever that was. A commercial liner.
Yeah.
Boeing.
Terry begs LAX not to have her shot down, insisting she can land the plane. Weaver breaks into the cockpit with an axe and tries to kill her.
She even makes a personal plea to the pilot, like of whoever that was just flying next to me, please let me try. Don't kill me.
Oh yeah.
Please, I can do this. I can do this, people.
I can push this button, the autopilot button.
Yeah, she did, and she did too. So I guess that's cool.
Yeah. Weaver breaks into the cockpit with an axe and tries to kill her, but the F-14 destroys the truck instead, shaking the 747 and giving Terry a chance to attack.
Yeah.
Terry retrieves a .38 revolver that one of the marshals was forced to unload and turn over to the captain upon boarding, and in the midst of Weaver's assault, manages to load a bullet that fell out of the marshal's pocket. She finally shoots Weaver through the head and kills him.
Which was the most unsatisfying headshot I've ever seen in a fucking movie. How tiny was that bullet hole? It was like a pockmark.
Yeah.
And it was after
And then
like
a
she
little bit of
loaded
blood.
the gun wrong too.
Yeah.
Because
was
it
like-
was a revolver. She put it in like the wrong chamber and she had to go through a few blanks to actually get it off.
Yeah. Which is funny. But oh well, at least she killed him.
And that was
Yeah.
the Chekhov's gun too, because that
Yeah.
gun was right in the beginning of the movie. It was like,
Yep,
okay.
literal Chekhov's gun. And the bullets were in a
Fuck.
different location, so she had to
Yeah.
fight for her life to retrieve the bullet. Just
Yeah,
once,
they
just
were in
one.
they were in the pocket, and when it
Yeah.
did the whole flip, they fell out of the pocket.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why the flip was important, the movie
Almost,
made
but it
sure
almost screwed her though, because she actually did look when she was looking for the bullet. She looked in the pocket, wasn't
that-
there.
Yeah.
She had to search the ground for him.
Yeah, yeah. But the movie has to make sure that everything that happens is important, I guess. But doesn't matter. She kills the guy, then she radios them. She's like, I killed the guy. And they're like, oh, okay. And they back off.
Nice.
They decide not to shoot her anymore.
Yep.
So stupid.
Mhm.
Oh my god. All right, then what happens? She
Here.
lands the plane, everybody
Yeah.
survives.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much else. And it turns out everybody that was locked in the crew cabinet,
They're
they all
fine.
survived.
There's a
Holy
possible
shit, I can't believe it.
right. And there was this. I mean, during the credits, it looked like there was a possible love spark between the
Yeah,
the pilot that was guiding her.
yeah,
They're
Yeah,
they,
little
they're giving
chemistry.
some winks and nods.
yeah. Looked like they had developed a little bit of chemistry. Maybe they have the chance of becoming an item in Turbulence
Mhm.
2. Some magic moments may have happened in the closet. We didn't get to see them. Maybe they had a full-blown orgy. Serial killer on the plane.
Right.
Got to crash into LAX.
Bucket
Fighter jet on the side. Let's fuck.
flipping around.
Yeah, flipping around back and forth. I mean, multiple orgasms were had that day.
Oh man.
Yeah, this movie blew. I hated it,
This is
honestly.
pretty bad.
It pissed me off so much. And I didn't expect it to. I actually was really excited for this one because, like, a serial killer on an airplane. I mean, I'm ready, but somehow, despite Ray Liotta, despite the $55 million budget, I just felt very dissatisfied with it. but that's just me. I didn't like the characters really. That's what kind of dragged it down for me. Like, but I don't know. Maybe if my expectations hadn't been so high, I think I was just like, oh, I'm ready for an airplane threat. But
really, yeah, I was like, oh no, another airplane threat.
yeah. Okay, so you were dreading this one. All right.
Yeah.
So what were your reactions? What I'd like to hear what you'd both have to say, because I don't want to be the hater of the group, the one hater, or maybe you guys loved it.
No, so I hated it too. It was like probably 30 minutes at least too long because of the reasons I've been mentioning throughout, because even like starting with them going through and checking the seats, making sure everything's all fine and dandy. That lasted for a good couple minutes.
Yeah.
Like it 100% felt like, now that just thinking back, like, oh, this is probably a commercial trying to show you how safe air flight is.
Yeah, with a serial killer on board.
Yeah. So there was just so much fluff that could have been cut, and then all the characters were doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
Every single one, all of them. Like,
there wasn't a smart character in this movie.
Like, oh, and then the one thing that annoyed me to shit was like, whatever the main lady's, she tries to, seduce Liotta into, I don't know, not doing what he's doing.
Not being a serial killer.
Yeah, she just kind of fakes him out with a fire extinguisher and beats him. And it was like, okay,
I
what the, like that was all. I liked it in a way, but also it cut like Liotta's character down. Like, if he's this genius, he should have been able to see through what she was doing and just said no. His ultimate goal was to just die with the plane.
Pretty much.
So like, even if he did have, sexual aggressive, psycho shit, like he probably would have forgone her just to make sure his ultimate goal would happen. Yeah,
which was to crash the plane, pretty much. Which is why she needed to kill him,
He had plenty of opportunities to do so since she left the cockpit so much.
Yeah,
it's true. Yeah, she took a break from that cockpit a lot throughout this movie. Like,
I was surprised I was just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't kill more people. Actually, the kill scenes in this movie were okay. They were effective, at least. Like
the first, that first gun shootout with him stabbing people with the soap dispenser, and then
and
that whole shootout was decent.
The scene in the bathroom, both the scenes in the bathroom with both the robber killing the cop and the scene where he strangles Catherine Hicks, both those scenes were pretty gnarly. I mean, like they felt like they belonged in like a really good horror movie, but instead they were in Turbulence.
Yeah.
But
well, and that floor door too, his leg got caught in it. That was funny.
Oh, that was good. I like that. That was smart. That was a good decision when she locked the door on his leg, and he was like, "No!" and he had to like wrestle his way out and do all that shit. That was cool. I was
should have done it earlier, but
much earlier. But oh well, she missed a couple opportunities to have already done that. But oh well. What were your thoughts on it, Zach?
I went into it knowing it was going to be shitty. It's just based on having seen the third one. So I kind of enjoyed it for what it was.
That's good.
I gave it a 2.5.
Excellent.
I mean, it's still shit, but somewhat enjoyed it for being shit.
It was shit, but I'm kind of curious to see the sequels, actually.
Yeah, I haven't seen the second one, but I'll just say that the third one is a heavy metal concert on a plane.
Shit.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
And
I gotta see that.
Rutger Hauer's in it.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man, how have I not seen this already? All right, Turbulence 3. What's the full title? Turbulence 3.
Turbulence 3 Heavy Metal.
There you go. Heavy metal.
Okay.
All right, got to put it on the list.
Yep.
What about? Oh, what was that?
The second one is Turbulence 2, Fear of Flying.
Okay, all right.
I haven't
Maybe
seen that one, so I don't know.
No,
And I'm
Turbulence-
assuming they just go off the names and they have nothing to do with each other.
that's
It's
my
like
guess.
it.
Yeah. Turbulence 2 might be the best of the three. Who knows?
It's got Tom Berenger, so
Okay, Tom Berenger.
that's the only recognizable name I see on here.
Yeah, he's like the guy from Matt playing the Fields of the Lord. You know, could be good, but who knows? What about you, Nick? What would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 5?
Oh right, I didn't rate it. I'd say probably a 1.5.
Okay.
Just solely for Liotta's performance because he was
Yeah.
awesome. He was really good in it, and that shootout. But everything else just kind of pissed me off. How long some of these dumb shots were, how long the movie was.
Yeah. And how every character
Was so stupid.
shitty.
Everyone
Yeah.
was just a dumbass.
Yeah, pretty much. I actually cared more about the passengers and the crew than I did for
Right.
the stupid flight attendant flying the plane.
Yeah. I wanted Liotta to win ultimately.
Yeah. I one. That's what I get. One. Thumbs down. Hated it. I don't know. This wasn't my thing. I was ready to love it, but instead it just flushed my dreams down the toilet. You know, maybe this would be fun to watch with some buddies over some pizza and beer
On
maybe some
2x
Chinese
speed.
food. Yeah, you know, or just have a barbecue. It's like, hey, want to watch a shitty airplane movie where Ray Liotta plays a serial killer? Turbulence. It's like, oh, I think I rented that one back in the day. Why not? That's when I'd rewatch it, but I don't know. I think my expectations were too high. I needed to set them more at Airplane versus Volcano level.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Mine were pretty low going in, and it did worse still. Honestly.
Yeah. I actually can be a sucker for the right kind of airplane movies. It has to be done right.
I wonder because I don't like them. I think Snakes on a Plane, just because of how stupid it was, and just because it started off of like an internet meme, I think maybe or something like that. But just the idea of airplane movies confuse me on a logical level. I think that I just can't get into them.
Yeah, this movie actually probably pissed me off as much as Snakes on a Plane did. Like, that's another airplane movie I did. What?
Gotta have a airplane episode now. Just plane movies.
Just plane.
I don't know. Are there any even good ones?
No, that's why we got to do an episode.
The airport movies aren't bad. Well, okay, I shouldn't say they're not bad. The first one's not bad, but
the comedy ones, like what's
no,
that?
that's
one
Airplane.
Airplanes. Okay.
Yeah, that's Airplane 1 and Airplane 2, the sequel. But that's like a spoof, like where they're making fun of airport. Which, if you've seen the airplane movies, then the airport movies are probably too like they won't be taken seriously.
I haven't. I haven't seen either.
Yeah. Well, Ray Liotta was good, but it wasn't enough to save the movie. But it was still really fun to watch these Ray Liotta movies, and it was really fun to talk about them. So
yeah.
So that concludes our Ray Liotta special. And
rest in peace.
Yes. Yeah. I wanted to just say one more time, rest in peace, Ray Liotta. You're a good actor.
Mm-hmm. One of the best.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like in all of these movies, he did a phenomenal acting job for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I'd have to say I really liked him in all of these movies, like quite a lot. Like,
yeah. He was the best part of all of them, probably, I'd say.
Yeah. I think so. Okay, so now let's quickly discuss our next theme, which is it's not really a theme. We're just talking about movies from the 2010s, and you guys have probably made your choices. Should I say my choice first for the film that I choose?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, I am choosing the 2010 film titled Legion. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but I read the
heard of
plot.
it.
Like, yeah, I read the story synopsis, and I'm just like, that sounds so insanely stupid and crazy and ridiculous that I just need to watch it. So I'm choosing Legion.
Okay. Well, you have one yet?
I have two that I was gonna maybe. What you go first, yeah, and then I'll choose one of the two.
Yeah, because I had two as well. But
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go with one that was on the worst 100. It's pretty far up there.
Ooh,
Oh, is it maybe it may have been one that
Is it
Okay.
Birdemic?
no, not that one.
Birdemic, Shock and Terror.
Okay, that's a classic one I've heard.
all right, cool. Birdemic, I'm ready. Shock and Terror. That's an easy title. Birdemic. Well, all right, worst 100. Cool.
Shit. So I'm gonna go with just some random one I saw. I don't know if it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be good either.
But it's interesting and it has really low ratings. But the other one looks fuck, okay. I'll go with it's called Game Therapy.
Game Therapy. Okay.
2015. Yep.
All right. I'm ready for it. Game Therapy. I don't. Is it? Well, okay. All right. I won't look it up. But
The other movie that I was thinking of was the Bucky Larson, Born to Be a Star.
Okay, I've heard of that one.
It's like
I think I've heard of that.
Nick
yeah.
Swardson, stupid looking, dumb, awful looking movie, but
All right. But we're gonna
this
go with
one's
Game
more
Therapy?
interesting. Yeah, Game Therapy
Alright.
looks more unique at least.
Okay. All right.
My other one was Dead Sushi.
Dead Sushi.
Yeah.
Man, these titles are just. I mean, I don't even know what Game Therapy. I don't even know where to begin with that title. But Dead Sushi.
Yep.
Oh goodness. All right. Well, now I'm curious. But all right, Birdemic, Game Therapy. Wait, what did I choose? Oh, Legion. So Legion, Game Therapy, and Birdemic. Shock and Terror are going to be the three films that we talk about from the 2010s, and I'm looking forward to talking about all three of them, and I'm looking forward to watching all three of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been looking for. I wanted to see Birdemic for a while.
Yeah, me too. Actually,
It's one
I
of those
know
classic bad ones I've heard.
I see it on so many lists. I've really tried to avoid looking up any kind of footage or anything, and I've managed to avoid knowing anything about it. I really am excited. So yeah,
I've only seen like a snippet, but
I've heard the How Did This Get Made podcast. They did it. It was one of like their first episodes though, and I don't remember a thing about it except yeah.
All right. Well, I'm ready for it. So. All right. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for talking about movies. And yeah, thank you for everyone who's listening and who's enjoying what we have to say. And lots of love to you all. Happy summertime. Bye.
Yeah, have a good one.
see ya.
See you on the flip flop.